nothing's really quite going your way. You got bad news that's confusing. You got sad news that you're wounded. And it feels like the worst time. You're worried and scared and not fine. You feel unprepared with no signs. Well, it'll be alright. You just gotta fight. What about things happen to the best of us? It seems like they should be blessed. They just might be angels here as guests, teaching us to be our best. When everything breaks at the seams and you feel like you're losing belief, but damn it, you just gotta stay strong. When it all falls apart and goes wrong, when you feel let down and so lost, and it feels like you can't hold on, well damn it, you just gotta stay strong. Cause sometimes things go wrong, and one day everything's gone, but you can make it out and move on. So damn it, you just gotta stay strong. You know that it sucks and it hurts. It's like you've been cursed by the world at its worst. I'm sorry, I know you can't see it, but maybe all these things happen to you for a reason.
Bart, your new favorite toy, JJ. What's your new favorite toy? Show Mama and Papa. What's it called? JJ, what's your toy called? Toilet trouble? What a riot.
Telling lies, Papa, open the one. Da 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 da
Say, welcome to Coastal Crew Change.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over.
You need to go on American Idol.
Johnny as Papa.
But you gotta do the Coastal Crew Change.
It's welcome to Coastal Crew Change. Welcome to the Coastal Crew Change.
Hey, and say, the driver is Papa Larry Woodcock.
The driver is Papa Larry Woodcock.
Say thank you,
Thank you.
and come back.
Come back.
And pay your bill on time.
Pay your bill on time.
Your child?
My child.
You thought.
Say hi. No.
JJ! Say hi!
Sit down. Happy family.
Ooh, look at how handsome.
Kelsey, do it. Let me grab my sunglasses.
A, B, C. Say your ABCs, JJ. Say your ABCs.
ABCs.
A, B, C, D.
A B C D E F G. A B C D E F G. A J J K L M N O P Q R S T Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. No, I know I ABC's Max Hybrid choose good.
Yay! Put it on. Oh, I guess I'm gonna wear another hat.
Love you from my heart.
Thank you.
How sweet is that?
Yeah, I would have scrunched him up good too. He was so cute.
He is adorable. I want to say something that nobody has talked about and realized that I know of, not even during victim impact statements. If people recall, JJ's biological mom passed away after this, when the kids were found on the property. Does
Yes.
anybody know that?
She passed away before that.
Here. Let me get it here. Hold on.
Well, I mean, he was already adopted by Charles and Lori because the mother was having issues,
Okay, hold on.
and so was the father at that time.
I know. I know this case inside out. Hold on. Okay. Birth mom of 7-year-old murdered by Lori Vallow and buried in shallow grave, died at the age 46 for anguish and stress she endured losing her son.
Well, she lost her son a long time before that, though.
When they found the children's remains.
What was her last name? Lager?
Mandy.
Yeah, her last name, though.
Lager. She died June 22nd, or 2022.
2020.
She died after the kids' remains were found. Please.
Oh, really? I
listen.
thought she was gone before that.
No. No. There she is. So he's in heaven with his mama.
He
No one's
died
talked
months.
about it though.
She died reportedly months before the beginning of the murder trial. It
She
left her
died June
completely devastated.
2022. So nobody has talked about Gigi's biological mom. And I'm surprised nobody did during
She
that
died.
passed.
She died from natural causes, reportedly, but as it was hypertensive cardiovascular disease, a type of heart condition usually caused by
She died because her son.
Yeah.
That's why. Think about it.
Yeah.
Heartache and pain. All right. Now, R.I.P. to Mandy. Up there in heaven. All right. Me and Grandma did a live with talking about, oh, hi, Misty. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to set this up for us. Did you see that the cosmopolitan and his wife were there? Ooh. No. Okay. Remember the guy in Idaho that's been on death row for 40 years? Was supposed to get executed in February? And I said he got executed? I was wrong. I was wrong. They couldn't find a vein. Let's go listen to the press conference. So, I was wrong.
You're always willing to say it if you're wrong.
I am wrong.
They did their level best, successful. They did the right thing and opted to stop additional efforts so that we could evaluate next steps. With that, I will stop for a moment and allow the other witnesses to speak to their particular experiences, and then I'm happy to answer any questions after that.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Boone. I'm a correspondent with the Associated Press. I'll attempt to do sort of a minute-by-minute recount of what we saw so that you can understand what happened. Let's see. So the media witnesses were brought into the witness room at 9:50 this morning. We were in there with several other people, including Hayden Dodds from the Board of Correction, Jared Larson from the governor's office. There was a correctional officer in there with us, and Ada County Sheriff Clifford. At 9:55, it sounded to me as if perhaps Mr. Creech's witnesses were being brought into the room, just so you understand that it is a separate witness room and we are not able to see them. They have their own window into the execution chamber. So what we can see when we sit in there is the execution chamber itself, which has a padded sort of medical style table with straps on it, a podium where the warden stands, 2 phones, one red, one black, and then in the walls there are some holes where the IV tubing goes into the medication room or the medical team room, which is actually behind the execution chamber and is not visible to us. The medical team apparently views Mr. Creech throughout the process, the ones that aren't in the execution room, via some closed circuit cameras, I think, and I saw 2 cameras or 3 cameras above the medical table itself. So that is where I presume they were viewing the events. At 9:59 this morning, I heard some faint pounding from outside our room. It's not clear what that pounding was. It sounded like somebody sort of rhythmically banging on metal. I do not know what that sound was. It lasted for a few minutes and then stopped. At 10 a.m., the warden and the director and some correctional officers entered the execution room, followed almost immediately by the escort team, which was 6 people escorting Mr. Creech in. He was already on a gurney. They brought him in, they moved him via a backboard to the execution table and then began strapping him down, first his right arm, then his left. He seemed he was not moving much during this process. He wasn't fidgeting. The escort team was standing at attention when they weren't actively strapping him down. And that placement of him on the table was complete by 10:03. Once he was on the table, he was looking at people in his witness area, which was adjacent to ours, and appeared to be talking or mouthing some things. At 10:04, about the medical team began assessing his veins and applying an EKG to his chest to monitor his heart rate. And they took several steps to sort of prepare his right arm for access to the IV. They used devices, including like a laser device or an infrared device, a vein finder tool. They used a hot compress. They attached a blood pressure cuff that they inflated to try to get the veins to distend. So by about 10:11, they began trying to establish the first IV, and within 2 minutes, at 10:13, they decided the first IV attempt was unsuccessful. They again tried a new site. Each IV step took several steps, right? So they would clean the skin, they would inject a numbing agent, they would re-clean the skin, and then they would attempt to insert the IV itself. Excuse me. IVs continued to be attempted in each arm first. So they tried the right arm first, they tried the hand, they tried the left arm, both sides, and then they decided that they needed to move to his legs. And at that point, they removed the sheet that was covering his legs, took off his orange, like slide-on style shoes, pulled up his green scrub style pants, and then worked around the hook and loop style straps that were restraining both of his ankles. At that point, they moved the medical cart that they were using to hold their supplies to near Mr. Creech's feet, so it would be next to where they were working. This obscured our view partially, and we were unable to see exactly how many attempts directly that they were trying. However, based on the number of times they inflated the cuff and used numbing agents, our count was also 8 attempts. Let's see. So by 10:43, they were still, at 10:41, they were still attempting to find IV sites. At that point, one of the medical team members opened a drawer in the cart, appeared to see that they were running low on supplies. That person left the room, came back with the pocket of his sort of scrub style navy blue jacket filled with supplies. When he left, Director T. Walt followed him briefly out of the room and also came back quickly. And that medical team member made an additional trip out to get, I think, one more thing. The supplies were then restocked. They were still attempting repeatedly throughout the next several minutes. At 10:54, Mr. Creech lifted his head, looked at the medical team and said, "My legs hurt a bit." At that point, they appeared to try to like lift or move his legs to apparently relieve some of that discomfort. Throughout this process, Mr. Creech was looking at the people in his witness room. He was sometimes, his arms were strapped, but he was sometimes waving like this or waggling, like wagging his fingers at them. He was sometimes mouthing things to them, but he wasn't saying anything loud enough that we could hear it. At 10:57, Warden Richardson and Director T. Walt spoke to each other quietly, nodded, and then the warden went and spoke to the medical team. Also at that time, the medical team began removing the EKG. They left by 10:58, and that's when Warden Richardson announced that the execution would be halted because of the inability to find a successful IV site. We were taken out of the room a short time later. Before we left, I saw Director Richardson walk over to Mr. Creech. At one point, he placed his hand on his arm. He whispered to him quietly. Then he moved around to the other side of Mr. Creech where he was. The table so that his back was to the windows and appeared to be talking with him. Ms. Creech nodded back. When the warden announced that the execution would be halted, Mr. Creech looked at the people in his in the separate room, his witnesses, and waved at them again, and then sort of closed his eyes and shook his head.
Busted Open is your daily destination for unrivaled pro wrestling content. I'm joined by a rotating lineup of
Hi, I'm Brenda with KTVB. Rebecca did a great job explaining minute by minute, but I'm going to start with when he was brought in that gurney. It started on time. It started at 10 o'clock. He was brought in that gurney. He was still strapped in that gurney, and then he was lifted and put on the table, and they covered him with a white blanket. At 10:03, that's when he made eye contact with his family. He waved to his witnesses on that room there. He waved, and again, like Rebecca mentioned, you could just see his fingers move there, but he was locked in with his family at 10:03. At 10:03, that is. At 10:04, he actually made contact with us to see who the other witnesses were. He didn't really he didn't say anything. He didn't mumble. He just looked at us and then just laid back down. That's when the medical team started the process. They took some breathing assessment. They also put 5 what they were calling stickers on his chest, and then 2 on his abdomen. I did catch at 10:06, he throughout this whole entire process, he would mumble words, but I was able to catch what he said at 10:06, looking at his family. It appeared that he said, "I'm sorry," looking at his family again. At 10:10, that's when the first IV was administered. And like Rebecca mentioned, it started at the right arm, went over to the left one, and then they had to go take off his shoes and proceed with his legs. This happened 8 times. Through each time, though, I did notice that Creech every time the IV was administered, he would make this snoring noise. He would also twitch. It appeared that he would go in and out of his sleep. And yeah, like I mentioned, he would twitch and then and snore. There was another point at 10:32 where I was able to make out what he was saying to his witness room there. It appears that he said, "I love you." This was after a couple of attempts at administering the IV. After that, he went to that, again, to the noises, the snoring noises, and the twitching that he would do. I will also mention, kind of backtracking here, in the room, the medical staff, they were covered in white cloth. They also had goggles. And there was about 3 of them administering this IV. There was a point, the 7th time, when the IV was administered at 10:54, like Rebecca mentioned, he did say, "My legs hurt a bit." That's when the medical staff helped him lift his legs up. I will also note that from what I could see, from my point of view, he didn't seem like he was in pain. The only time that he really said he was at 10:54 when he said, again, quote, "My legs hurt a bit." Then after that moment, he shook his head. He would shake his head sometimes. I'm just looking at his family. At 10:58, that's when the execution was halted. That's when it was announced. They couldn't find, they weren't able to have any successful attempts. So that's when it was halted. We were actually told to leave the room. Creech was still laying there on the table. And when that announcement was made, from my point of view, he was looking up and mumbling a couple of words. I didn't make that out, but he would just look up to the roof and just mumble a couple words there. After that, we were escorted, but he was told a couple of words that we also weren't able to hear, but then we left the room.
I'm Nicole C, and I love Chumba Casino because
I'm Scott McIntosh from the Idaho Statesman. I don't have much to add. I will corroborate what Rebecca Boone said and what Brenda Rodriguez said. I also, when Mr. Creech came into the room, he looked back at his witness room and his eyes started to fill with tears, and I heard him sniffling, and he seemed to be puffing a little bit. And I will also say that I could not hear what Mr. Creech said, but based on his lips moving, it looked like he said, "I'm sorry." So I will confirm that. The only other thing I'll add is that the medical staff, there were 3 of them. There was 1 head person and 2 assistants. They were dressed in blue scrubs head to toe, and their faces were covered completely, except for their eyes, with white cloth. And then their eyes were covered with safety goggles, safety glasses. There was one moment when they were trying to put an IV in his right hand that it seemed like his hand was twitching and hurting. Other than that, I will also confirm that it did not seem that he was in discomfort or pain during that hour-long process. Other than that, I'll stand for questions.
I'm Roland Barris from Idaho News 6, KIVI TV, ABC. The other witnesses have given a really good rundown of everything that pretty much happened. I guess I want to just add a little bit of perspective from what a bizarre circumstance this is for anyone to go witness. I think going into the room, seeing someone lifted off of a gurney onto an execution table is just surreal. And then to see the operators in the room, who, in my opinion, were very professional. Again, Creech, to me, did not look like he was in pain at any time, any severe pain, mild discomfort, I might say, from time to time. But it is bizarre also to see, as you described, you know, the medical techs with cap on, goggles, face mask, pretty much covered almost head to toe. It's a strange sort of thing to see. At one point, they covered him with a white sheet, and it was kind of bizarre to see how it was almost like when you unfurl a flag of some sort, and they did it with a flourish almost. And then he was covered with a white sheet. And I guess I would say just lastly, you know, as time went by and the attempts continued to fail, at first there was very clear communication from the techs, you know, Mr. Creech, another, you know, this IV attempt has failed. You could sense the frustration in the room as time went along. And I think I timed it, I don't know about you guys, maybe somewhere around 46, 47 minutes total from the time of the first one, IV. Somewhere around there, 45 to 47 minutes. It's a long time. About 57 you have? Sure. So understandably, I think you could see there was some frustration in the room a little bit as they tried to get more equipment in and try again. And I guess I would leave it open to question now, since there's probably going to be some other questions, whether or not there is a certain number that you decide to call it at, or is it just left up to the media, or to the, not the media, but to the medical folks to handle that?
Yeah, real quick, just a couple things to add context. When Mr. Creech noted discomfort with his leg, he was experiencing a cramp, and the medical team worked to try to assuage that. I wasn't sure how briefed everybody was on the timeline, but Mr. Creech spent the entirety of the evening up until about 4:45 this morning with his attorneys as well as his wife, Leanne. He took a mild sedative, as he's afforded to do per policy, and actually was able to sleep for at least a little bit prior to this morning's event. So I think there was, as noted, you know, he was very tired when he was brought into the execution chamber. In terms of a set number of attempts, we rely on the direction of our medical team. I met with them after Mr. Creech had a physical examination this morning. We had established that we thought there were potentially 8 access points. Those are the points they attempted to access. And when it became clear that that wasn't going to be successful, that's when the execution was halted. One other thing to note, the medical team leader did leave the room to gather additional supplies. After the assessment this morning, they had opted to look at smaller gauge catheters to try to establish IV access. And so it was to get additional smaller gauge catheters for their continued attempts. So with that, any additional questions?
I want to clarify that the state isn't sure what the next steps kind of look like moving forward. Clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, I think what we've established right now is that we have a death warrant that expires today. I know, and I apologize, I've been debriefing in some other things, so I'm not as up to speed on the legal maneuvering that's taken place, but I believe we have stipulated that we will not make further attempts on this death warrant to try to carry it out. But in terms of establishing when to seek another death warrant or if to seek another death warrant. I think those are discussions that have to happen in the days ahead to, number one, determine whether or not circumstances will be different. So those are the kind of things, those are the kind of discussions that it would be premature to say this is going to happen next until we have the benefit of having those discussions.
In terms of the state protocols, does anything plan for this sort of thing?
No, from a protocol standpoint, we have the preferred method is to establish a peripheral line. And that's what they attempted to do and finding those access sites. We have concerns about secondary methods that, this isn't, I think it's worth noting that this isn't emergency medicine. This is a heavily regulated process that requires it be treated with a deference to being mindful of not violating the Eighth Amendment or creating any cruel and unusual punishment type claims. So where there are other medical procedures that would require surgical intervention or something of that nature, there are some policies that in other states that allow for that. We're not comfortable with that at this point. But those are the types of things that we're going to be evaluating in the days ahead to try to determine the path forward.
As a follow-up on that question, another state, Alabama, had used nitrogen gas when the same thing didn't. Or is that an option for Idaho?
At this point, Idaho law provides for execution by lethal injection or firing squad now. We do not have the facilities or physical capabilities of carrying out firing squad. And we'll continue to work on those efforts. But state law doesn't allow for nitrogen hypoxia, so it would take a change in statute for that to be an option. But again, our efforts have been focused on carrying out the death penalty under the methods that are prescribed under state law today.
Director, is there a time factor with the medication that is involved in this? As you seek a new death warrant, is there any concern that it expires or that there's a problem with the medication holding up until another attempt?
No concerns. I mean, our policies are pretty strict in that, we have certain standards in place to ensure that the chemicals that we use are in fact the chemicals we're supposed to use, that they're not, that we're not using anything with a beyond use date, and that we have testing to verify the authenticity of those chemicals. And so that it is the same consideration for any execution we undertake. So today's events won't change the calculus on that.
There is a timeline though where it does go bad. It does have an expiration
at some point. Yeah, absolutely. But again, our decision making is based on our ability to carry out an execution with dignity, professionalism, and respect, not dates on chemicals. That's a secondary issue.
Can you walk us through whether or not the drugs were actually loaded in syringes and whether or not they have now been used and no longer use of potential execution?
Yeah, in accordance with our policy, prior to Mr. Creech entering the chamber, our policy prescribes that we have trays that are prepared. So the chemicals that we had for today's execution are they're unusable in future executions.
Now, we do all 3 doses. If you have a backup, to the backup.
2 of the 3.
2 of the 3. So
Yep.
there's still one of those that is available.
Potentially, yeah.
Tell me about Kiri. That man took our daughter.
There's one in the back.
That was my question. Oh, I just wanted to make sure. Creech is not offered a chance to say final word because the idea was never established. Is that correct?
Correct. We did not get to a place in the process where he was afforded that opportunity.
When you say he had physical examination this morning, does that have to do with assessing his veins?
Correct. Yeah, the purpose of that examination was for our medical team to assess their likelihood of being able to establish IV access. And as I was just going to say, and as I noted before, it wasn't a simple access issue. It was also a quality issue. And in their professional judgment, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. It would not have been appropriate to try to move forward with a potential with an IV site that is collapsed or with infiltration. So
following up on the backup and so forth, in order to carry out an execution, you would need a backup dose in a future potential execution, correct?
correct.
Okay, so 2 have been used, and eye doctors then have 1 in its possession currently.
Correct, but again, I'm not going to speculate on chemicals for future executions. I think we have a high level of confidence that we'll be able to secure the chemicals necessary to carry out an execution by lethal injection. But we'll cross that bridge when it's in front of us.
But you're talking about acquisition of additional chemicals. Is that from the same supplier where these ones came from?
I will speak about our supplier as often as I always speak about our supplier, and that's to say that I won't speak about our supplier.
Fair enough, but is our understanding correct that you do expect that you'll have to seek out new chemicals for another execution attempt?
Correct.
Okay.
You said that there were 8, so solidified 8 attempts, I believe. Maybe it was about somebody else asked a question. And that was because there were 8 established possible injection sites.
Correct.
Okay. Is Mr. Creech's wife and his patient still there? You know, he's back in his cell where they will have time together afterwards?
Yeah, we as I was leaving IMSI, we were in the process of moving Mr. Creech from F block to medical so that his wife could go back and visit him. And then the facility's making preparations right now on his longer term placement.
Saving after major conversation after.
I have not had the conversation with him after it failed. Warden Richardson has a good rapport with Mr. Creech, and he and the warden had a conversation. I'm not aware of the contents of that conversation.
You acknowledge that this execution was unsuccessful. You said it was wrong to call it a failure. Mr. Creech's attorneys have referred to this as a botched execution. How do you respond?
Well, I'll respond to Mr. Creech's attorneys in court, but I think from a broader context, you know, what's clear to us and what we rehearse and practice and train is that everything we do is with the goal in mind of ensuring that this process is carried out with dignity, professionalism, and respect. And when it reaches a point in that process at any step where it looks like we're going to be unable to do that, that's when we call it off. And so I think for us, it wasn't a difficult decision. It was the right decision to halt any future attempts at trying to establish IV access. Let's call it, and we'll discuss next steps after that. So I think, you know, what is, you know, that's, again, our goal is to do this in a manner befitting the gravity of such an occasion, and attempting to try to move forward with an execution when you don't have the confidence it can be carried out in that respect. I think that would be the definition of a botched execution.
Dr. T-Wall, could you walk us through the level of medical training qualified members on the medical team? Are they phlebotomists? Are they EMTs?
Yeah, I won't get into the specific medical qualifications, except to say that the requirements to be a member of our medical team are clearly spelled out in our SOP, which is publicly available. And there are regular checks to ensure that they maintain their certifications. I'll go above and beyond that, as I noted before, as a demonstration of our confidence in their competence in what they do. Every single person who's involved in this execution planning process has volunteered to have IVs established by this medical team. So while they were unable to establish a suitable IV access point today, our confidence in them is unwavering.
We have 2 more questions. Okay, mine's kind of a double one. So as far as you know, this has never happened in the state of Idaho before?
Correct.
Okay. And has anybody on the medical team ever performed an execution before?
Yes,
Yeah. In Idaho?
correct.
Okay, so they have a history of this.
But just one last question then. I've always heard that when you're under attack, if you will, your veins shut down because the external veins will sort of collapse in order to protect you from attack. It's a natural thing that occurs. Doesn't it make it problematic when you're fearful for your life that you're about to die, that the veins will be difficult to find?
You are asking me to weigh into an area where I have zero expertise. So I mean, I can't necessarily comment on that respect, except to note, you know, the qualifications that are in our SOP. You know, these medical team members are, as a routine course of their work, are used to dealing in high stress, high pressure, high stakes situations. And you know, again, we're confident in their abilities, but I can't speak to how the circumstances may have affected Mr. Creech or the quality of his veins today.
And media, do you want to answer questions? We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I want to know everybody's opinion.
On what point, hon? About them stopping it?
Just about this news conference.
I think that they have very, very, very stringent rules in Idaho about how these things have to take place, the procedures. So I think they did the right thing under those circumstances, because, you know, they can't get hung up on that cruel and unusual punishment thing, because then the legislation would get changed and they wouldn't have a death penalty. So they have to do it right and in a humane way. I think he definitely deserves it from his actions.
Oh, yes. Yep.
26 people is a lot of people. I don't understand why it has taken so long, why we have to support this man for 40 years and then spend ungodly amounts to have him humanely euthanized. I don't know why they do it that way. Because I think, 40 years there, he's been in there or some shit, and that's kind of
right.
just to end up, euthanizing him later. I think that's kind of inhumane. But I was listening to him talking about the firing squads, and see, they have that on the law books, but they don't have a way to do it.
They don't have the funding for the facility.
Right. So they don't have a way to do it. So that's really off the table, and therefore you get these, chemical executions, and it's got a lot of rules along with it, and it's really hard to get those drugs too. So it just goes on and on and on, and it's a huge problem.
Okay, my opinion is, yes, they did the right thing, and I agree with you. Yes, that man deserves this death warrant because of how many he killed. Plus, he also said in an interview he would reoffend.
Yeah.
Yep, his mouth. But the reason why I'm showing this, because this is like related to Chad's case. This is Idaho. And I was wrong the other day when I talked about people on death row, and he was supposed to be executed in February. Well, I just found last night that he wasn't. This happened. That's why I'm showing this.
Right.
And we're going to look at an interview, short clip of a news station interviewing Thomas about this. Hold on. And then I'm going to share some other interesting things. I feel they are. All right, you guys, here we go. Hold on.
February. Good morning. Just got off the execution table on the 28th of February. They punched me through 4 holes, but I'm still kicking.
That is new video of Thomas Creech and what appears to be right after his failed execution last week. This was posted to an Instagram account that shows videos of inmates in Idaho. So inmates have access to cameras and are able to record videos from inside the prison. We have reached out to Creech's attorney for comments about this video.
Crazy. Did you see him get all teared up?
Hey, look, Kit.
Hold on. I'm not in StreamYard. Hold on.
Well, somebody just stopped by to say hello to you.
Oh, look at my headlight, bitch.
God, Kit.
Hi. Hey, girl. Hey. Always exciting seeing you here. Yes, girl. Slay it. Slay. Okay. Now, do you guys know there was a new execution, the first American or first person in the United States to be put to death by suffocation. His name is Kenneth Smith. It happened in January. So let's go watch this on this because people are having problems with that.
That the nitrogen thing?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yep. So this is how Alabama's doing it now because of not having the lethal injection medicine.
Kenneth Eugene Smith was one of 3 people paid $1,000 in the murder for hire of Elizabeth Dorleen Sennett, a plot engineered by her husband. Smith was sentenced to death. Now Smith is slated to undergo his second attempt of a state execution after Alabama failed the first time by lethal injection in 2022. This time, the state will use nitrogen hypoxia, a gas delivered through a mask. In their arguments to the Supreme Court, Smith and his lawyers stated a second attempt at execution would be a violation of his constitutional rights and amount to cruel and unusual punishment. The High Court declined to intervene or give an explanation. In an earlier 2-1 ruling, a federal appeals court had declined to stop the execution, stating in part, there's no doubt that death by nitrogen hypoxia is both new and novel, but that Smith failed to prove how it violates a constitutional ban on cruel and unusual punishment. Smith spoke to NPR last December.
I'm still carrying trauma from the last time. I've been treated for PTSD and I struggle daily. Everybody is telling me that I'm going to suffer.
The untested and untried method is the country's newest form of execution since 1982. Alabama is one of 3 states, along with Oklahoma and Mississippi, that allows for the use of nitrogen gas in executions. But Alabama did not have an approved protocol for the method until this past August. According to Alabama's Department of Corrections, Smith will be strapped to a gurney and a mask will be placed on his face. The nitrogen gas will be administered for 15 minutes or 5 minutes following a flatline indication on the EKG, whichever is longer.
If a little bit of nitrogen gas gets out because the mask fit is not perfect, then the time to death will be, of course, prolonged, and so may the suffering.
Joel Zivit is a professor of anesthesiology and surgery at Emory University. He says there are unknown risks for this never-before-seen method, especially for those who will be in the room.
When they're killing people, they really should be knowing how to do it. The nitrogen gas could leak from the mask. And so whether or not that would be enough nitrogen in the room to actually have an effect on people, it's not clear.
Experts say Alabama is considering this new alternative in part because of its failed track record of executions.
Using executioners who have basically no training in what they're supposed to do and a protocol, then you end up having very serious problems. Hanging, lethal gas, electrocution, lethal injection. This road has led to Alabama using nitrogen hypoxia.
Deborah Deno is a professor of law at Fordham University who has studied the death penalty for over 30 years.
Kenneth Smith is definitely a guinea pig. I mean, he's going to be subject to a method of execution, which, as far as we know, has never been used in the history of the world.
And Alabama and other states are starting to explore other options since those who administer the executions have been reporting having trouble finding veins and other issues like happened in this case, which they say could lead to a prolonged and painful and traumatic experience. And states like Alabama have also reported shortages in the drugs that are used for the procedure since many pharmaceutical companies have opposed that their medications be used in these executions or have even stopped manufacturing them together. CBS News has reached out to Smith's attorney regarding today's execution, but he had no comment.
Look, I mean, when you're talking about the execution of anybody, the details are going to be hard to listen to.
They
But,
are
you know,
hard to
we'll see how this works out.
It's historic. We'll see how.
If they're worried about the people in the room, if nitrogen were to escape, then all they have to do is put on a mask to protect themselves.
Right.
And go in and do what they need to do and hold it on that guy for 15 minutes, like it said. Or if his heart stops, then keep administering for another 5 minutes after his heart stops. I don't see the problem. That would be actually a quicker way to go than the lethal injection, I believe.
Yeah.
Because you just kind of go to sleep.
Yep. Okay. So, hold on.
It's such a hot topic. You know, people get really passionate about things like this, but these people, some of these people are taking numerous lives, innocent lives, and they can't be released. And why should they be allowed to live when their victims aren't? I don't know.
Yeah. Especially with children. So we're going to watch this. This lady describes what she witnessed during Kenneth Smith's execution.
Of nitrogen gas, Kenneth Smith laid on the gurney and shook for about 2 minutes, shaking and writhing on that gurney. The gurney did move several times there. Following that shaking on the gurney, there were several minutes, about between 5 and 7 minutes, according to media witnesses, of heavy breathing on the gurney. Several minutes later, a correctional officer did walk up to Kenneth Smith and appear to look over at his face. He did not touch Kenneth Smith or actually do anything that media witnesses were able to see to Kenneth Smith, but he did lean over and look at him for several minutes before walking back to the wall to return to his post there. At about 8:08, movement appeared to stop, and there was no perceptible breathing from Kenneth Smith. The curtains to the execution viewing room closed at 8:15 p.m. Central Time, and Governor Ivey pronounced death at 8:25 Central Time. One thing that Kenneth Smith's attorneys were very afraid of is that he might vomit into the mask. He did not show any signs of vomiting there into the mask. Also, the Alabama Attorney General's office had said in prior court filings that they expected him to lose consciousness pretty quickly after that gas began to flow, but media witnesses saw that Kenneth Smith appeared to be conscious for several minutes after that gas began to flow, again, before he proceeded to shake and writhe on that gurney for about 2 minutes. Again, that 2 minutes of shaking and writhing on the gurney was followed by about 5 to 7 minutes of heavy breathing.
So there's that. That was a quick one. Okay, this is what like we talked about Thomas. Did you see he got all choked up, right? So did this Kenneth Smith. Just think of what these families are dealing with, especially when you admit your crimes of killing 26 people and you will reoffend if they let you out.
I don't feel that those men and their tears are valid. These are people who have unalived multiple other innocent people. I don't feel for them. I don't believe their emotion. If anything, they're feeling sorry for themselves. And I just don't care. Did they have one bit of feeling towards their victims? I'm sorry. This is just a nothing burger for me. I don't care about their tears.
Well, and as we do see, you know, they got to wait till all their appeals are, you know, whatever.
Exhausted.
But, yeah, exhausted. Thank you. However, I don't have a problem with it. You want to know why? Especially when it's children, because they're away from everybody. They don't have privileges. Okay, they're in a cell 23 hours a day by themselves. Ooh, I should show the pictures. Hold on a minute. I want to show you guys this here real quick because I looked it up, but I need to go to the DOC website. But I just looked this up real quick, guys. Well, the qualifications in Idaho. The execution team, made up of entirely of volunteers who, according to Idaho execution protocols, were required to have at least 3 years of medical experience, such as having been a paramedic. They were not necessarily doctors who famously took an oath to do no harm. So there's that. What was I going to look up, you guys, for us?
You said you had something else interesting.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, did it have to do with the link that I sent?
No. Kenneth
Did it
Smith.
have to do
I
with...
already shared it. Kenneth Smith. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Okay.
Hey, Barbara. Thanks for coming in. Good morning to you, Barbara.
Oh, where are the pictures? I'm trying to find just Idaho's. I seen them last night. No, not the old one. Oh, here we go. Found it. Wonderful. We are going to look at Idaho's, well, let's look at this first. I want to see the inmate cells, but let's look at this. Hi, Miss Barbara. Okay. Let's see. Can you guys see those pics? Chamber looking south, chamber looking southwest, exterior of IMSI. Here's the isolation cell bed. And they do it here at F block back. Okay, this is F block front. There's a camera. There's a little stool and desk. There's a toilet. Look at that. That's concrete. That's not, there's no mattress. I want to see what their cells look like. Hold on. I thought that was it. Because a lot of people use stock pics, but I want to see Idaho's. Well, if I find it later on, I will show it. Because I'm just curious. Let's see. Okay, opinions, everybody. Anybody?
Well, I gave you mine. I need feedback.
I need feedback from other people too. That's why I'm trying. We only have a few people talking.
I know, Misty, what do you think?
I mean, come on, people, let's get involved here. It's a subject matter nobody really likes to talk about, but every opinion matters. You know what I mean?
Well, just like our votes matter, this is a huge hot topic about whether you believe in this or don't. I mean, morally, but I just think that it happens to be for the best of all society to not have people who are not capable of, rehabilitation. I think they need to be removed for the good of everyone.
See, I take in considerations of, in my opinion, how I feel is who they killed, how they killed them, their behavior, especially when they're talking, they will reoffend. Okay, and they admit it, and they're going on for decades, just like boasting about it. They don't need no mattresses. So funny.
Yeah, Misty, that's what I'm saying. They don't have remorse. And why do they get to kick back and watch cable TV and have food every single day when their victims got nothing, got no compassion? So why do we do that? Why do we have a death penalty if we're not going to use it? Why is it so hard for them to enact their own law about, in Idaho, I'm speaking, about having firing squads if they can't get one put together?
Yeah, let's look that up.
How hard is that? I mean, Wild West, you just call up a bunch of guys, they all show up, somebody gets the bullet that works and nobody knows who it is, and everybody fires at once and one of the bullets works. That's how it's supposed to work. I just think these people are sorry. I think these people are kept alive far after their appeals have run out. What they do to some of these people is absolutely horrific. Do you remember, Kit, that I was meaning to talk to you about this? Do you remember us talking about Robert Picton, the guy from Canada who had the pig farm?
Oh, yeah.
Well, guess who died yesterday?
Did he?
Yeah, he was attacked a couple weeks ago by another inmate who really messed him up, and he passed away yesterday.
Wow.
Yep. So
all right,
that's in Canada, mind you, but it was still prison justice for what he did to those women.
Okay, this is a while back. I mean, a long while back, you guys. Let me see here. I want to look up Idaho, so I really want to try to focus on Idaho the best I can. But it's interesting to learn all this, don't you think?
Oh, I do.
I think, yeah.
You get to see how your vote, makes the law, but then you got to see what kind of BS comes along with the law too.
Right.
Red tape. There you go, Barbara. That's what I'm saying, Barbara.
Okay, I look at this website quite a few times, even when I talked about Lori. But this is how they used to do it back in the day. Do you see that? Is there more pictures?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the, let's read this about the cost of building a facility. I think I showed this other day, didn't I? Yes, I did. So let's see here. Okay. The new law is estimated the cost of $750,000 to renovate a cell block into a suitable for the new execution method. What does this say? Huh.
You need help looking at that?
I'm not reading the whole thing. I just want to know the cost. Because from my understanding, they don't have funding right now.
Yeah, that's some big dollars there.
They shouldn't have brought it back until they had the funding.
The average cost of death penalty case neared $2.6 million, while the pursuit of a non-capital case is $1.7 million on the average.
Good comment, Barbara. And this is what I want to say too about the two men that we just talked about, Thomas Creek and Kenneth Smith. I know, was it Kenneth? And I said, maybe they didn't appeal any of their stuff. I want to find out which one. They didn't appeal their
Conviction.
Thank you. So that tells you something, right? It
I'm
would
on
mean,
top of things. I'm on top of things with the words today, Kit.
right?
Yeah.
All right. Alrighty. Well, I figured we would watch some videos I have done of Chad and Lori. This is when Nate was tracking them down.
Goody.
Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell being tracked by the media.
On July 11th, 2019, Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, called 911 to report he had just killed Charles Vallow, JJ's father and Lori's estranged husband.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense. He came at me with a bat.
Lori, JJ, and Tylee were all home at the time. As police questioned Lori, she didn't appear rattled or upset, even laughing at one point.
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know us.
Gotcha.
Like, hi neighbor, sorry.
Hawaii Police Department pulled Lori and Chad over. They were driving a black SUV. They pulled into this resort where I am standing. They put Chad into one vehicle, Lori into another. That's when their vehicle was seized and they had no way to get home. We had a chance to ask them so many questions that need answers. Lori, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids?
No comment.
No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? You're over here in Hawaii? Where are your children? Yeah, why don't you just give us a comment? Just tell us where they are. Chad, where are Lori's kids? What happened to Tammy, Chad? Can you tell us what happened to Tammy? Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
That's great. That's great that they're praying for you, praying for your kids. What? You have nothing to say? Did you do something to your children? Are your children still alive? That's a simple question. I've got 3 kids of my own. I can tell you every minute where my kids are at. Where are your children? What do you guys plan to do now? Are you you have 5 days to get your children in front of a judge in Rexburg, then what? Are you guys innocent of any crimes? Have you committed any crimes? Chad, you guys have a lot to say on your podcast. You don't have anything to say now? Lori? Do you believe that you were instructed by God or others to do something for your children? If you could give a message to them, what would you say? Listen, if you just talk to us, we'll leave you alone.
Family's worried. Tammy's family's very worried.
Tammy's family's very worried. Lori, your mother, Kay, came out. Kay and Larry, they're offering a $20,000 reward for your children. And you're over here on the beach? This is your chance to tell your story. Nothing you want to say? One last chance right here. Anything you want to say to the people in Idaho? Laura, you have a lot of cash there in your baggie. Were you guys planning to leave Hawaii? Were you planning to take off? And with that, Chad and Lori darted into this.
Can you tell me, man? I just can't comment. This morning, Chad Daybell breaking his silence to ABC News. Is there anything that you would like to say to people at all who are, number one, concerned about your kids or concerned about you and your wife? Anything at all you want to say to them?
Grateful for any support. We just have to wait for the legal process to work through.
Daybell refusing to answer questions about the whereabouts of his missing stepchildren, 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old JJ Vallow.
And can you tell me, Mr. Daybell, are the kids okay?
On Monday, Daybell was spotted visiting the Hawaii jail, where his wife Lori Vallow is being held on a $5 million bail.
Lori Ryan.
Welcome back, Lori. Where are your kids? Just tell us where your kids are. Where are your kids? Anything you want to say, Lori? Anything you want to say? How does it feel to be back in Idaho? What do you want to say to your kids? What do you want to say to Colby? Anything you want to say to Chad, Lori? Any message you have for people watching? Why won't you talk, Lori? Why won't you talk to us? Why won't you talk to the world? This could all be over if you would just answer some questions, Lori. What do you have to say? Did you commit any crimes, Lori? What message do you have for the world, Lori? I know you can hear me. There's a lot of people that want to hear what you have to say. We're ready to listen. JJ and Tylee deserve your answers, Lori.
What are you trying to do?
You literally did it right as she walked out. Yeah.
Chad, do you have anything to say?
Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh my god. Look at these people. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. I know I shouldn't ask people, but damn, that was funny. Oh my god. I am such a dork. Oh my, stop.
Yeah, but you're our dork.
Isn't that funny though? Oh god. Funny, 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 funny. Okay, I'm looking at them walk out into the sunlight. Well, well, well. Missouri, Missouri, Missouri. Naughty law enforcement out in Missouri. Guess what, people? I'm going to be doing a live here about Bobby Kemp. Okay, people? And let's look at what this cop did. All right. Former St. Francis or Francel County Sheriff Department's wife charged with attempted trafficking of a minor. There they are. They both were arrested for it. So this is one of my new projects too. Yep. I'm telling you, Missouri, you give us people so much, I don't want to say it like this, but I'm gonna, content. To me, it's not content. It's about spreading awareness, but you know. So she's 28. They were arrested May 30th. How old is he? He's 28. How old is she? Oh, he's 39. She's 28. My bad. How gross. Social media accounts associated with David have uploaded video file of suspected child, you know what. Wow. Okay. I'm coming for you, people. I'm coming for you. Yes, I am. You're next. You're next.
Get him, Kit.
I will. Yes, I will. I mean, there we go. I had to take a screenshot. There we go. There's that. Let's see what's going on here. Nada. 429 people watching.
There were last night too, because I was one of them. I stayed on there until they went offline.
I thought they were going to have a verdict. I really did.
I did too. Everybody was online saying it. The verdict is in. I'm like, great, bring it on.
So obviously this is a situation, in my opinion, I'm speculating here, that they all can't agree. Now, what I find is funny is when they're being questioned, the bodier, whatever, all of them said they had no problem with DP.
Well, true. But once they decide to go that way, then there is another whole, foot deep bunch of paperwork that they got to do.
Yeah.
Before it can be read. Administrative stuff like they were working on yesterday. Administrative stuff. Yeah, right.
Look at how quick they came with that guilty verdict. That's why I think this would be easy for them.
Well,
but I'm not sure. I'm not there. I'm not in the room.
Well, you got to understand it's Idaho, and the religion of many of these people could be of that type, which is common there. And they might have some moral dilemma as far as that is concerned. Some of them may. So they might have to hash that out a little longer. I agree with you, Barbara. He is ugly like a frog. Look at that wide, flappy mouth. It goes blah, 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 blah. That is all she cares about. And he's throwing her under the bus now, which is so funny.
That was weird.
No, because I knew he was going to do that because he has to create reasonable doubt. Oh, it was just Lori. It was just Lori. Well, jurors aren't stupid.
Okay, let me tell you something. Other DP cases I watched, Chad was a shot caller. Chad set this all in motion. Chad, when he met Lori, was Googling her and Charles in pictures. Chad was a shot caller. What's his name? Schreiber's case. He wasn't in town when his wife got killed, but he paid somebody to. So maybe payment from Chad was that they were part of the 144,000.
Well, he is a god, so he can decide these things.
Right.
Allegedly. Misty, that's why she keeps me around.
I've seen something. Well, nobody's talking. I seen something very disgusting online yesterday. I'm just gonna. Oh, her Betty.
What did she do? Again.
She said about the Proudfoots. Because she got to interview Sebastian's dad. Okay.
Seth. Yeah.
She thinks the Proudfoots need to be waterboard. Uh-huh.
What a dumb see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Totally disgusting.
Somebody needs to duct tape her mouth.
She's an embarrassment to the true crime community. She has ruined it. I don't care what anybody says. Because, you had your whatever anyways, but when she came to YouTube, her and Molly made a mess of everything. Now, JLR, he was part of it, but I'm proud of him. He got away from them. He still does. JLR is JLR, but
God.
But yeah.
And Justin got all in with them.
I think that maybe she should be waterboard. She's sitting here threatening these people, right? Picking on these people. Yesterday, it was so gross what I watched. But then yet, she's being bullied on the internet. She bullies parents of missing children. That's her MO. That's what she does.
What about her stupid lawsuit against QB?
That's what I'm saying. You know what? She's so stupid. Because people are clipping what she's saying. Let me go to Headline Bitch's channel. I'm going to show you guys this.
You're funny. She loves that. Misty, she's talking about Headstones and Headlines, which is a channel on YouTube that sometimes does the true crime, but she also does, there's things that are in the news, like headlines, but also headstones.
She's so freaking fake. See, she was having a problem because, oh God, there's her, oh my God. Where do I begin? Her and JLR shit, oh my God. She got kicked out of Sebastian's group.
Betty did?
Yep. JLR's. She was a, okay, this is my headline bitch. I'm going to put her link in here. She's funny. She's my headline bitch.
Well, Headline Bitch has Betty on her thing there. So that's not Headline Bitch.
This is my Headline Bitch channel.
Yeah, her channel, but not the picture. The picture's Betty on Headline's channel.
Okay. Now what was I going to say? And I'll say it, and I'll say it again. Okay, I'm sorry for the people that can't have babies, so don't think I'm saying anything about you people or aunties or whatever. I'm talking about her. She's sitting there talking about she has grandchildren, this and that. No, she doesn't. Her ex does. She don't see them, and they've been separated for 10 years, okay? And they're finally divorced. She doesn't know what it's like to have a child. She don't have that mother instinct, okay? That's something different.
There is no part of her which is a nurturing, loving, compassionate
Absolutely
person.
not.
No.
She wouldn't be acting like this when she's talking about a child's case right now. She's talking about a missing child, and this is how she's acting. Let's play it.
Will headline friend mind if we show a couple minutes of this? Or I mean, this is a 3-minute video.
Headline bitch is my girl. She ain't gonna care.
Okay, good. Well, I'm just asking. I'm just,
Sebastian Strong. We are here for a boy. We're not here for content creators, little pissing contests or crybaby sessions, or, maybe we need to start mailing, some safe spaces, coloring books and crayons to some of these creators out here on the streets of YouTube. Just a suggestion. Maybe we will get a collection of money together. It seems like these people need a lot of, extra special help, right? So maybe if we give them a nice little pretty coloring book and some good crayons, maybe they'll just go over in the corner and work on that. I don't know. I feel like we got a bunch of people that hit their head on stupid. I hope they bring it back here. I hope they start talking about Sebastian and his father in a more positive light. I think that if anything, this interview showed you a broken man. It showed you that this man loved his son. It showed you that he knows he's not a perfect father, but he's out here doing the best he can in the situation he's got. Meanwhile, he's got wolves at his back trying to...
Shut up, Betty. Shut the F up. Okay, you always hold on to hope that the child will be found. So she says he loved his son. No, she should. Well, anyways, she is talking about this missing child right here, and then she does this little rant. Shut the hell up, Betty.
Look at her eyes. Look at her eyes.
I hope the judge is getting these clips of her behavior online. She does a poor me. She's being bullied. Look at her. She's bullying YouTubers right now. She's bullying the parents, the mom and the stepdad.
Stop him and prevent him from doing this, and he just can't understand why. It's either you're here to help his son or you're not. And it appears that people are showing they're not here to help his son. They're here for their click and their view. They're here for their notoriety. They're here to show that they can. They're here to show you, look what I can do better than his own father. You will make me sick. Let me just be very clear. Anybody that's acting like that, you make me sick. And I promise you, you will not like the results of your actions in the future. I can promise you that. Absolutely promise you that you're not going to like the actions in the future based upon your bullshit today. Just saying. Because you get people's attention. And when you get people's attention, they start looking in your closet, right? And then when you start sitting there talking about a father, and then we see all this nonsense and shit in your own closet, right? Recent shit. Recent stuff. Like you fighting for somebody else's kid, but you got your own son writing you, begging you for your time, and you won't even write him back, pick up the phone or call? You're out here fighting for somebody else's kid while you have $50,000 in child support?
It's none of your damn
business. And not even
business.
taking care of your own damn children?
It's none of your damn business. Worry about yourself.
Yeah, what a hypocrite. She's like the worst of all of them.
Yep. And the way she's acting right now, sometimes, and I try to think about this myself. Sometimes, like when you get like that, you're actually talking about yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What you hate in another person is often what you hate about yourself.
And I'm nothing like her people.
You're only mean to me.
You know what? I'm not mean.
You're mean to me.
I need to get my point out. And when I can't finish what I'm saying, then I really get irritated.
Have you lost your damn mind? And you're attacking this father? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? Just curious. Just curious. Who else's girlfriend are you going to steal there, little boy? Just asking for a few 100,000 people that you think don't know what happened.
Okay. Did you hear that? A few 100,000 people, or whatever she said. She used in her thing with Queen Bee about how many cells she has and people come after her. What is she doing right here?
The setup, right? The recordings, the private recordings, it doesn't sound like a setup at all. It doesn't sound like some bullshit at all. Not at all. Huh. All part of the same group, all intertwined together. Kind of funny how that happens. You guys will learn. I'll be dropping a deuce on it. Don't worry about it. Like I said, nobody does drama better than me. I'm hoping everybody gets back on track, right? I hope everybody gets back on track. But if anybody thinks that I can't go out here, stir up a whole bunch of shit, and still be coming out smelling like a rose, you done lost your damn mind. I got 3 years of proving that I can do that. Just that. Stir up a whole bunch of shit.
See?
Call a whole.
Look at what she's doing, you guys.
She's stirring up shit, which is her favorite thing to do, and she just admitted it.
It's not going to help her lawsuit either. Nope.
It's a frivolous lawsuit against her.
No, I forgot. This is the real Betty right here. This is the real one. Would you want her on your missing child's case? No, not me.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to invite Bullhorn Betty. You know, she shows up.
Well, if it was me, I'd take care of that problem.
Whole bunch of people out on their bullshit. I could certainly can do that. I certainly can do that. All this poor, bad behavior with all these filthy, disgusting things in your own closet. Keep talking. Go ahead. Because you know what? They may not listen to your ex-girlfriend and they may not listen to your wife that you're still married to. But I can tell you, I capture the people's attention here on 2 major platforms. I can certainly get a message out very loudly and very clearly. Just a little food for thought.
I'm loving
So what did you guys all think about the interview?
I'm loving this video.
Recordings
so much.
just got better.
You tell headline, bitch. I love it. I love it. That's
Crazy.
Wonderful.
Crazy.
It's the hypocrisy that gets me, you know, because she's so full of crap and she's done so many crappy things. If she wants to talk about somebody's past, oh my goodness, let's look at hers.
Right?
It's just obvious she's unhinged.
I don't know where I seen it. There was a clip I seen where she insinuates that, JLR her and JLR had something allegedly together. And she's talking about one of his mods being his girlfriend. And it's a mess. It's a mess.
Is this recently? She just said this about JLR?
I just seen it yesterday.
Oh
Let me
my
find it, you
God.
guys. Let me try to find it. Hold on. I can't remember who it was.
Well, we know that she was with Dolly.
Oh my God. Where is it? But,
You know, she was with Dolly Vision, right? They had a thing. They did the horizontal mambo.
well, I don't know that. I don't care. I don't care.
Ew, 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 ew. It's just, she's, you know, always talking about who's in whose bed. Just, God, mind your own business.
Oh my God. When I typed in Betty, you know what came up? The title when I said the FBI.
Oh, that's
It
hilarious.
came up.
Play it.
Oh my God. Holy shit, that is funny. Didn't expect that because I'm pretty much shadow banned on here.
We love your work, Kit.
Shoot. Oh man. I I can't find it. It just came out yesterday. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh God, I had somebody come after me on TikTok. They didn't like my videos about Mulher and Betty. Okay. She goes, I don't see what's so funny about this. I go, why the hell are you watching?
If she doesn't see what's funny about it, she needs a personality implant. Come on, man.
If she knows Bullhorn Betty, the parodies I've done is stuff she's done on the internet. It's not something I'm making. Well, I did make the FBI one up because I thought it was funny because she called the FBI. Okay. So the FBI showed up at her house in a parody. Bummer, guys. I cannot find the clip. You know, JLR's got over 200,000 subs. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I can't find it. Well, she's coming for JLR now. That's what's happening. Okay? She got kicked out of the group. And allegedly, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And then allegedly, she went after the mod. And then when she went after his mod, because he said they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but JLR claims they're not. And he said he was done with her. Because I guess that mod, she has cancer. I'll allege it here. But they're screenshots to, go by. I can't find the video. Thank you, Misty. Thank you. Let's see here.
She really is trash. She really is. It's so awful. And the sad thing is the woman gets herself so worked up. She's going to give herself an aneurysm or something,
Right?
She is so wound so tight. It's like, man, life is pretty short. You don't need to be this strung out over stupid stuff.
She's always angry.
Yeah. And
that's why I had to change my parodies, because my heart would start racing when I would try to be like her. I'm like, oh my God, I don't like this. I gotta twist it a little bit, make it my own.
Yeah. She's something. It's just irritating because, she does go on and on about, people that missing children's parents all the time.
She goes after them.
And she has no frame of reference personally. That's the thing that gets me. Like you're saying that you shouldn't have children of her own. Well, and she didn't raise children. She was always that other woman, that other person.
What would she do if she did have children and her children went missing and somebody showed up in your neighborhood and accused you of doing something to your children.
Right.
God, is my dad here? What's going on? Okay.
Oh man, there's just so much stuff.
Well, I just had to put my opinion out there.
You just go for it, girl.
I mean, come on, threaten people to get into their personal life and dig up information about them? Are you kidding me? Why? For what? What are you doing, sweet girl Nala? Get up, y'all. Okay. Enough with the bell. Come here. Get up here. Come on. Forget it then, Nala. Imagine that somebody came after you. I know. Yes, imagine that.
Guess who's live right now?
Who?
BHB.
Oh, I don't watch her. Nope. I just watch clips. I can't. She's too angry.
Well, technically, it's a premiere.
Let's see. Let's see.
Barbara. You're so funny.
I cannot believe how people are still going on about Diddy. There is no new information. All these little rumors going around. I cannot believe it.
There's a lot of crap that's just recycled garbage going around.
It is. Oh my
They're
God.
waiting. They're waiting for him to get arrested, and then they'll just go to town.
Yeah, you know, they're not even putting question marks about the alleged things. You know what I mean? Because
Oh no, they're flat out accusations.
Yeah, and but then when you watch the video, it doesn't say anything about him, you know, anything. They're still stuck on March.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of clickbait to get people to look at their videos, and then they never talk about whatever topic.
Okay. What are we gonna watch? Oh, this is what we're gonna watch, just because. I'm trying to make this about Okay, this is hold on a minute. YouTube makes me mad sometimes. We are going to watch Julie Rowe cry and whine about chat. This is in 2021.
When I come back, I can tell my story and the subscribers will still be there.
Interesting.
So to me, that was Chad drawing his battle lines because I had held back. I held back for over 3 months about sharing certain details because I did not want to take his reputation. I did not want to hurt his kids. I did not want to hurt his extended family. I wanted to protect them as much as I could, and I didn't want to make this public. But when Chad did that, he dragged me through the mud and my reputation and my story, which means he drew the battle lines, and I now consider him an enemy instead of a friend.
Yeah, interesting. So this seems to be sort of an announcement of things to come, and as this battle ensues, and he's gonna, wage war or whatever. What attacks then?
He's setting the stage for if and when he comes back to vow. He's setting the stage, and he's going to make up a bunch of lies about what he thinks I didn't believe or say and said, when he is the one that is guilty of the very things he's going to accuse me of.
And why would he do that, do you think?
Because he's working for the dark side now.
And possibly, I mean, do you think there might be any motive to deflect some of the attention upon himself?
Absolutely. And guilty consciences do that.
Mm-hmm. What kinds of things do you think he might say then? If this truly is a battle and he's waging war against you, what kinds of strategies do you think things he might say against you?
Well, there's evidence the FBI have found and police have found on Lori's computer and Chad's computers, Lori's email and Chad's email, that they were having an affair. Everything from Lori, dancing for Chad and sending videos to her email to weird stuff they were involved in where they thought that they were leading the 144,000 and past lives and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I believe in past lives. I have memories of mine, and anybody that wants to know about that can read my books. I'm very open about that in my books. I also know, because Chad told me out of his own mouth last fall, that he thought he was James Celeste married to Lori.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I heard it from his own mouth. And that was Chad's belief. I never confirmed it with him, and I never got confirmation on it. I listened in it, and I just was like, okay, that's weird. So now they have in writing, and it looks to me like Lori's friend Melanie, or former friend Melanie, was approached by police and FBI. Chad and Lori were lying to Melanie and used her to try to cover their steps with the cops when it came to the location of the kids. And Melanie came clean, and she showed him the emails. And so, I don't even know Melanie. I've met her for 5 minutes one time in 2017 in a group setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told to stay away from the whole situation, from Chad, Lori, Melanie, the whole group. There was a whole group of them that was part of preparing the people. And I was given huge warnings by the light side, by my angels, to stay away. That is exactly what I did. And so those women don't like me, and they didn't like me the first time I said I wouldn't give them my phone number, and they still don't like me even more because I continue now to go public and say I was told to stay away. But that is the truth of it, and that is my experience.
Okay. Again, okay, so going back to the question, what kinds of things do you expect Chad to come at you with then, as he makes announcements and statements in the future?
Well, I can say this. There's already rumors going around on the internet, and I don't read that crap, but I have enough people that work for me or work in my organization as volunteers that keep me up to speed on what's being said, generally speaking, about me online. And there are people saying crap like, oh, Julie's just pissed because Chad chose Lori over her. Okay, I can tell you that's the farthest from the truth that anybody can get at.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't want Chad Daybell. He was a friend, but I am happily married almost 24 years to my husband, who I consider way better looking and a lot nicer. So anyway, this is not what it was about. But if there are people already making that stuff up on the internet, then it would not surprise me. I put nothing past the dark side for Chad to come back with some kind of accusation about me having sexual misconduct or something like that, because his hands have been caught in the cookie jar.
Right. One thing I've known about your organization is, and for your own safety and security, you've needed bodyguards and people to watch you in public events to protect your safety. I wonder, I've just wondered myself if he's going to say something about, oh, she's got all these bodyguards,
Right. It wouldn't surprise me, because he's been on the inside. He knows who my bodyguards are, at least probably half of them. I have about 15. And I use the same 6 most of the time. Sometimes I have 8 in an event, and I have 3 in particular that travel with me regularly. And they book the room most of the time. If I book a room, they'll make sure I get to my room okay. If I am in a certain location like Utah or Idaho, I usually have them book the room so that nobody knows that I have the room. So
now the arrest. And joining me now, special guest, Tylee's aunt, Annie Cushing, joins us once again. Annie, what was your first reaction when you heard that Lori had been arrested?
You know, it really was the first flicker of hope I've had, you know, since all of this started months ago. So I was touching down. I was close to the Newark airport, and my phone just started blowing up because I didn't have it in airplane mode, but whatever. But it was, you know, it was shock. It was elation. And then tempered with, okay, this is realistically, this is one step closer to finding out where Tylee and JJ are.
Absolutely. And I know your cry to Lori is do the right thing and tell us. Well, I've got to get your take on this mugshot picture of her. When you saw that, what did you think?
You know, I thought a few things. One, I was just like, did she really just run into the bathroom and throw on some makeup before they took her in? I mean, what's with the, you know, lip liner and stuff? But on a more serious note, she just looks very hard. I just see defiance, you know, in that picture. So, you know, I don't know. I'm hoping that being in prison or jail, you know, will sober her up a little bit. And I hope that she'll see that the fastest way through this will be to let us know where the kids are.
No, and you mentioned that, you know, taking the time to put on makeup, doing her hair, whatever she's doing for this picture, it all adds up.
Yeah.
Do you wonder, what is the mindset? Your children have been missing 5 months now, yet you've been frolicking around Hawaii, but now finally arrested. Do you think she'll talk, Annie?
You know, I've been trying to think through that, like, all night. You know, part of me wants to believe that there's still a little bit of, you know, the Lori I used to know in there. And yet at the same time, she really just seems to keep doubling down on, you know, this defiance and stuff. So personally, I kind of put more of my hope in Chad actually buckling. But I don't really care who buckles. I just hope that, you know, something will incentivize them to let us know where the kids are.
You mentioned before, as you spoke to us, your message to Lori. What would your message to Chad be?
You know, just extradite yourself from this situation. There's no escaping. They're coming for you next. I'm not trying to be dramatic, you know, but that he needs to do the right thing. And all the indicators, you know, from everyone who knew Chad, you know, pre-Lori, you know, say that he was a good guy. You know, he was a pretty law-abiding citizen who just had some kind of freaky beliefs. You know, so I'm hoping that he will see the handwriting on the wall and just say, you know what, if he knows where they are, that he'll come forward and say, okay, here's what I know.
Yeah, we often forget and lost, I think, in this is that Chad was married to Tammy, his now late wife for almost 30 years. They have 5 children, I believe 3 grandchildren. So there's that side as well. Last one for you, I'll ask you again. Do you hold out any hope that the kids are okay, Annie?
I don't. I mean, I would absolutely love for that to be the case. I just would rather be pleasantly surprised than experience, you know, one more devastating disappointment. But I just don't see that it's really feasible.
Yeah, we hope and pray in the midst of all that. Annie's always.
Over here. No, take it backward. There's the backward.
Okay, and also I want to say Tylee's aunt, Annie Cushion, got to speak on Tylee's behalf. Which I was happy she got to. But nobody's talking about that. And I want to say about Charles, if it wasn't for Annie Cushing they would not have reopened Charles' case. That's a fact, people. That is a fact. It was a closed case. But her investigating skills and pressure, yeah. Otherwise, there'd be no justice for him right now. Miss Barbara, you want to come up here? Are you still here? I could message you. Oh. Okay, Miss Barbara, here's the link. Come on over, or come on up. We got a lot to talk about. All right. Hi, Misty.
Hi.
You're at work, huh?
Yeah. All I do is work.
You work every other weekend, don't you?
Yes. I get 1 day off a week.
Oh, that's it?
Yep. And usually it's for doctor appointments. So.
Hi, Miss Barbara.
Hi.
Hi, Barb.
Hi, Grandma.
How you doing?
Oh, getting angry. You want to talk about anger? I'm listening to all that stuff, getting angry.
What stuff?
Both Betty, Hornbook,
Oh,
Betty
yeah. Yeah.
First her, and then now we're on the Chad Bell. I can't stand any of them. I'm sorry.
I hear you.
Every time I watch them, I get mad.
Right? Hopefully they have a verdict soon. Now, let me talk about...
They didn't have a verdict on him yesterday?
No, we got the penalty phase now. If it's going to be a death or life.
Yeah, but he was found guilty for all charges, correct?
Oh, yes.
I thought I saw that yesterday come over my TV.
Yeah.
I drowned in my living room yesterday.
How?
My fish tank.
Oh, no. You got a big fish tank, too.
I know. It was not fun.
Oh,
it's straightened
no.
out now, but yeah, it was a job.
What did it do to your floors? You got a new floor, didn't you?
Yeah, I got fans on them. I got a hold of my neighbor. She came down here with the shop vac. We got a lot of the water up with that, but I got wooden floors, and so I got fans on them.
I know. That's crazy. Oh, man.
And tank looks great now. It's my fault.
Why is it your fault?
I decided I had this pump
Okay.
from when I got rid of one of my other fish. And I thought, well, I'm going to put some bubbles behind, the back of the tank.
Oh, yeah. I like bubbles in the tank.
Yeah. Well, I do too. So I decided to do it. And I walked down the hall and it was like, oh no, water was everywhere. I had the pump lower than the tank. So water. Oh, yeah. It was a job.
Aren't the bubbles cool though?
Oh, yeah. So my neighbor today took the pump even burned up. So my neighbor today took the pump back because I haven't had it very long. And they said you can take it back. So I exchanged it and I just got it going again.
Oh,
a few minutes ago. While I was listening to you guys, I was getting it going again. But now I have the pump higher than the tank. I don't know what I was thinking.
Where are the fish?
Oh my.
That ain't half of it. You know what else I did? There's big rocks. I mean, I've got big rocks in there. I got new plants, put them in there because my other ones were so old. And I got to looking, Kit, and I couldn't find one of my fish.
Oh no.
And I'd already put all the plants and everything in there. I was like, man, a fish is missing. No, it's got to be hit by one of the plants. And I blew it off. Finally, I got worried and I picked up the big rock and he was laying under the big rock.
Oh no. Is he dead?
I thought I was going to start crying immediately. And then he moved and he's been fine.
Oh my gosh.
But he was he was under there a good 10 minutes. I don't know how he survived it. I was about ready to cry because I've had him forever.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you sucked him up in the shop vac.
Oh,
no, I didn't put that in the tank. I did that use that on the floor.
He lived though. Good.
Yeah, he's doing good. He just ate. I just fed him.
Oh my God. The fish can't breathe out of water. That's funny.
He dug himself. It was like he dug himself lower into, I guess they're kind of floppy. So he dug himself lower into the little rocks under the big, huge rock. I couldn't believe it. When I picked up that big rock and saw him laying there, I thought for sure he was dead. And then he moved and I jumped.
Yeah, you're crying. He's like, psych, I'm here. I'm alive.
Yep. It's fine.
So I'm going to be doing an episode again on Missouri just because it's the gift that keeps on giving, Missouri. Okay?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It is.
Hey, can you tell me how Bobby Boone's court date went?
I did a live, or I put up a video about it. She was a no-show.
She didn't show up?
No, I did a video on it. You didn't see it?
No, why am I missing your videos? I'm not missing
because you're not paying attention, Miss Barbara. That's why.
When did you do it? Yesterday?
The day after her court hearing. The very next day.
I'm always looking up your stuff. Why am I missing your videos?
Everybody else has seen it on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube.
Well, I'm going to look as soon as I go.
Let me play the video for you.
Please.
That'll be better. That'll be better. I was in shock. Okay, hold on, please. Where is the bitch at? There she is. Oh, where is that bitchy at? I gotta keep my mouth shut. I'll be nice. Here we go. Bobby was a no-show.
So what does that mean?
This is really quick here. Bobby had court today, okay? We discussed this last night. However, here's what I want to show people. Defendant fails to appear, and her attorney Kayla, at the defendant's attorney's request, without objection, it is continued until June 11th, 2024, 10 a.m. for a mandatory appearance or warrant will be issued. Now, Missouri, tell me this. How can someone that was out on probation, okay, violated the probation with these type of charges, okay, not be in jail, out on her own recognizances, they should have went and got her. This has been put off since 3/2/2023. Bobby, you think you're gonna get away with this one? Why don't you go to your hearings, okay? And yeah, I'm being nosy for the people. All right, June 11th, 10 a.m.
So instead, she didn't show up for court. So they set her up another court date for June 11th. Hello?
I was muted.
Oh.
Okay. The judge, okay, she was a no-show, but her attorney was there. And the attorney talked to the judge or the prosecutor agreed to it. And if she don't show up this next one, June 11th, they will put out a warrant for her arrest.
And that's sweet how them.
Yeah. What is with?
I've never seen anything like it. They sure didn't do that to my son Michael. If he had a warrant, they came after him. There wasn't no, oh, if you don't show up, we'll just set you up a new one.
Yeah, I put that video on TikTok, on Facebook. I think I even put it on Instagram.
Well, I'm putting it in the groups. Corruption in Madison County. I'm putting it in all of them.
Can you believe that crap? I cannot believe it.
You need to send. Apparently I haven't seen it. So can you send it to me in Messenger or something so I can send it in all my groups?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's just crazy.
Because I want that lady that told me last time, oh, Bobby Boone. Remember when she was talking to Bobby Boone about how great she's doing and she's proud of her? And then when we were on panel and Bobby Boone got on there, remember, Kit?
Hold on. Oh, I gotta mute you. You're too loud. Here we go. Where is it? This is the strangest thing ever. Okay, hold on. Here we go. There you go. Sent. I sent it to your phone.
Thank you. I just got it. Because I'm sharing that in all of our groups. Go ahead.
Bobby is bad news. You want to know why? Bobby is everywhere stuff is happening. Bobby is a bully. Bobby is where people have become missing or unsolved cases.
Unalived.
Yeah. Imagine that.
She's everywhere.
And
I just away with it.
I'm just being a concerned citizen, okay? I'm a concerned citizen. That's right. And
I'm more than a concerned citizen. She was there with my son. I only got a week to go, Kit. One more week, thank God.
Wonderful. Yep, this is how she talks about your kid, right here.
This disgusts me.
Want to go beat him up? She said she'll knock him up.
And who is she talking to?
Caleb.
I know.
Mm-hmm. And this is at 10:19 a.m., people, not 8 o'clock, 10:19 a.m. Because he said he got arrested at 8 a.m. No, he didn't. Here's proof. This is proof right here. Liar.
Man, I'll tell you, Kit, listening to some of the people have called me and said, have you heard those audios before? I said, no, I'm hearing them the same time you're hearing them with Kit.
Right? They're shocking, aren't they? I'm still shocked.
Me too.
Yep.
And I cannot believe the police don't think that's interesting that she says, well, I'm just going to say Zach did it. Did what?
And she did. And she did.
She did say that.
Yep.
And then Caleb gets out of jail and starts throwing it on Zach. Imagine that.
Yep. See that? There'll be justice.
I know. I can't wait. Well, I have to. I don't have a choice.
I'm sure it's frustrating. Misty, just so you know, I have to keep muting you because we can hear a lot of noise because I know you're getting meals ready. Just so you know.
I understand.
Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know.
Well, I'm interested to see after I put that in some of these groups and that lady that made that comment about Bobby Boone doing so well and how proud she is of her. Well, give her a ride to court then.
She was a no-show. She was a no-show. She should know she has court. Every time she has court, I let the people know a day before.
I know. We knew she had court. So she had to have known she had court. If we know.
That's right. No excuses.
That's a drive, though. I don't understand how she got charges there, what she was even doing in that town. That's quite a ways from Fredericktown.
What is?
New Madrick, where she has court. That's not a short drive.
She decided to go that area and commit her crimes instead. Allegedly. Alleged crimes.
Yeah, I can't wait to have my party.
I bet.
I'm going to have a big justice party for these people when it's all over. Because I believe it's coming.
Well, you know, they're blaming the victim here, okay? They're blaming the victim for his demise, okay?
And look at them people in St. Francis. You know, St. Francis is right next to Fredericktown, where Caleb's been in trouble and went to court. We've read it.
Yep, we have. And
look at what happened with the police officer and his wife there. Just saying, you just played it.
Yep, I want to cover that. I'm on that one too now.
That's nuts.
Yes, I am. Missouri, I'm back. Missouri people. My good people in Missouri that are
You're an investigator.
I'm back. Okay.
Wasn't it not too long ago they had another cop doing something with a younger child?
I have no idea.
It was that Boy Scout leader, wasn't it, Kit?
Was it a Boy Scout leader?
Yeah, that was a while back though. It was like 2013, I think.
No, they had that little boy that got killed by his parents there in Fredericktown in DFS or whatever they call them. Apparently got reports, and somebody else there, one of the officers, got reports too and didn't say nothing.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
I gotta go drink. Be right back. Okay, I'm just going to my kitchen. Hold on.
That's probably the one you heard about. That 4-year-old little boy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not over yet either. But they try to hide all that stuff so that Fredericktown's not being looked at.
Well, we all know that they're crooks, and why my mom's out of that town.
I bet. I feel connected to that town though in some way to help some of the good people there. I mean, there is good people there, and I do feel kind of obligated to help them after what I know goes on there after losing my son there.
Yeah.
because you start learning about everything else that goes on there. And there was a lot of good people that treated me very good there.
Yes, they did.
And they deserve to have a good, safe town.
I was never able to go to your things, but I watched.
Thank you. But we know something's not right there for sure.
No, there isn't. Yeah, it wasn't too long after they found Timmy, they found another body in the park. And I never did hear any more about that. It was just kind of put there in the rug.
That was Andrew Fox. I know his mom. I met his mom. I haven't met his mom, but I've talked to his mom.
Yeah, they said
he decided to go in the park right next to the sheriff's office, take his belt off, and hang himself from a tree. Yeah.
Huh.
Somebody was putting out a message. That's my opinion about that case. What do you think?
Well, I think somebody was putting out an opinion on Madison, but nobody wants to speak out about it because the parents, got to respect the parents. But I don't care. I seen her the day before, and no, I don't believe that for a second.
I said, because I have no opinion, I said, but let me know about her devices. If her devices are gone.
They did take her devices.
When you told me that, I'm like, oh, hell no. If this this was an unaliving on her own will, and they said it's not a criminal case, why did you take all her electronics? Why is cameras wiped?
Yeah, the cameras were hacked.
Yep.
And I saw her, and I'm telling you, it wasn't even 24 hours from the time I saw her to the time she decided to unalive herself by hanging. Come on.
Right.
And I looked up hanging. I looked up the chances of a woman hanging. Okay. Women don't normally do that. They say that it's very, very, very rare for a woman to unalive themselves that way. They will normally take pills or they'll cut or something. They don't take their lives that way.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make a comment about that. Oh, and what happened to all her videos with her interactions with law enforcement? That's what I want to know.
The fairy tale came and got him. It was like magic, Kit. They zoop, gone.
That's crazy. Such a sweet girl too. She was so pretty.
And I don't know if you know this, but she was trying to save that 4-year-old.
Yep, you told me that. Have you been bothered by anybody, Miss Barbara, lately since our last TikTok live?
No. Ain't gonna do him any good. Bother me. Don't.
No, because of what I said on that TikTok live.
Yeah.
Leave you alone. Leave you alone.
Going to mute.
Come to me. Because I'm the one that's out there, bringing the information. Don't go after the grieving mothers or the grieving family. No.
I don't know how they think that that's all right.
It's not okay.
I mean, in one post, and it was a while back, and it was one of your things, and they said, why is this woman just not letting this go? She needs to just move on. I'm like,
ooh, because
I need some answers.
I want to go live tonight, Miss Barbara, because I got court documents of Bobby Kemp. Yes, I do. Oh, yes. And I found out where he is. Yes. You know it. You knew I would find that shit, right?
You need to call me because I got some things I can tell you I don't want to say on here right now.
Oh, yeah, careful. Don't. Nope, absolutely not. Let me do it.
I just want to tell you some things I know.
Okay.
Man, I'm telling you, these weeks are going by so slow. It's. Sometimes I'll sit here and I feel like I'm just going to throw up.
I can't even imagine. For a whole year. For a whole year, actually.
Yeah, we're coming up to August.
Yep. The best month of the year.
Yes. But I was told it was going to take a while. So I was prepared. But when the closer the time gets, then you get anxious.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Maybe Bobby skipped town.
You never know what's up with that girl.
Might have went to Texas.
Yeah. She's got family in Texas.
Wait a minute. Now, James Wade keeps saying he told Kimberly and I that he didn't know Bobby Boone that well, blah, blah, blah. We know that's a lie. But anyway, maybe he went to Tennessee to live with James Wade. Maybe she went to Tennessee to live with James Wade.
Oh, no. Oh, shit.
They are friends.
I wanted James Wade to contact me. I really did. I just wanted to talk to him. It doesn't have to be live.
Well, he knows that now.
He knew it. I said it before to him. And I was even.
You would even talk to him without being live?
Yeah, sure did. I even tagged him on Facebook. Yes, I did.
What do you think about Winter Kelly watching me on TikTok?
Isn't that something?
Hi, Winter.
Unbelievable.
You can say you don't know anything about substances, but we know you've been busted for them after Timmy was missing.
Oh, yeah. I showed her a mugshot, didn't I?
Yeah, when she got busted for the substances.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say it on here, so you know what I mean.
Yep, I do.
But in that recording, she's with Jeff Johnson when he's questioning her, she don't know nothing about any of that stuff. Well, that's strange because you got busted for it afterwards, and you were pregnant during the time that Timmy went missing. So what was you doing around there, Winter? I just like to know, wouldn't you, Kit?
I think it's funny how a bunch of people are saying they didn't know Timmy, but then they know everything about Timmy.
Because they're listening to whatever Caleb says.
No, I'm just saying, though. They say they don't know Timmy, but then when they're being interviewed, boy, they got a lot of information to say about Timmy. They don't interview the mother, but I don't understand it.
Kit, the weirdest thing to me about all those audios that you've got, that I did the Sunshine Law for every audio from that jail.
And you people cannot do nothing about it because it's public information. It's public. There ain't nothing to do it. When you're messing with law enforcement and the government, or you're in that realm, okay, there's nothing you can do. It's all public record. Just saying.
But the thing to me is, why did you send me all that, but you never sent me the recordings of Caleb and I? Why? They should all be in the same place, Ironton Jail. That's where the other ones came from. Why don't I have the ones from me and Caleb talking when he was in jail? And I did the Sunshine Law to him twice for that.
Wow. And they just don't disappear. Okay? Because I'm not telling who, but I have messages going back 5 years that is still on those sites with people.
Well, why would they not give me my recordings of me and Caleb talking, but they give me all that other? Well, some of it's pretty good. I mean, that Winter told it all. She said, Zachary. She's telling Zachary did it. Well, I want to know what Zachary did.
Well,
She
there's a
said
bunch of
they did something.
there's a bunch of new names that came up.
Yeah.
Now, I've never heard before. There's, you know what, people? There is so many new audios. Oh my God. And that's all I'm going to say. And I only listened to the ones I asked Miss Barbara first, just so people know. And this is all new for us too.
Yeah, I've had a few phone calls from people saying, "You didn't know that?" And I said, "No, I've never heard them before. I'm listening to them while you guys are." So I never saw that video of Caleb talking to whoever that one girl was. I've never seen I did see the one of Amber in the bathtub. I did see that one. And I saw, that's the only one I saw.
I like the last one that we showed. He was crying. I'm going to get home. I'm just going to get
And the one before that, he talks about how it wasn't such a bad place. He's with his homies, remember?
Yeah, I know. Got to put on that tough guy act.
Well, I think Winter needs to be in there with him.
They're both going to be in there together.
He definitely knows something.
Ooh, that ain't even half of it. I can't say it right now.
That's okay.
She knows it. She just don't know.
When are you
put it
meeting up
that
with
way.
Bob? When you meeting up with our friend Bob?
Winter and Caleb know exactly what they did. That's what I will say.
Interesting. A lot of stuff's going to pop up. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I'm just listening to Miss Barbara, and I know justice is coming, and there's going to be indictments down the road. So there's that. Right? Right.
Yep.
And I will never leave Miss Barbara's side. I will always be there till the day I die. Ain't that right?
Yes. And Winter and Caleb.
I just got to figure out how I'm going to get my ass there now. Okay?
We'll figure it out.
We will in due time, because I ain't missing nothing.
Listen to this. So Winter and Bobby and Caleb, they need to pack their bags and go to Tennessee with James Wade.
Oh my God.
Why did James Wade move? If he's not involved with nothing, why is he gone?
I don't know, but this is exactly what the prosecutor said. I was sitting right there when it was said. Karen was there. Kimberly was there. Madison was there because it was before she.
Oh, yeah.
She was there. Her sister Lydia was there. Anyway, so we're sitting in his office, and he goes, "Well, I think we've done a lot of change in this town, don't you?" And can't I say her name right? Liddy, which is Madison's sister, said, "No, I ain't seen no change." And he goes, "Well, aren't you happy with at least James Wade don't live here anymore? He lives in Tennessee." I remember looking at him thinking, "Oh, so that's okay? You can commit crimes and leave state, so we'll just go to another state and commit crimes."
I like how they're like putting stuff on James Wade now, though. Ain't that funny?
Oh, yeah, I know. James Wade told us outside the place that when we're sitting outside I call it the probation office.
Yeah.
We were standing outside. James Wade was standing there, and he said that they're corrupt there and that he has to get out of there because he's in all this trouble with the grand boy, and they didn't even charge the grand boy for anything, and he wasn't happy about it.
And he
should be the first one to know that it's a corrupt town. I mean, he's corrupt along with them.
And he brought you up. Yes, he did.
I think what the deal on that is that they're so tired of him bringing attention to their town. They're telling him, "You just move on to Tennessee, go to a different state." Because nobody wants eyes on Fredericktown.
Get the judge's channel. They're live.
Oh my God, what's going on with my thing? Oh my God.
Heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 7. With respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that by the murders or circumstances surrounding their commission, the defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 8. With respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the murders at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit murder, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. We unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. Once you have completed part 2, please have the presiding juror sign this verdict form and notify the bail if you are done. Dated this first day of June 2024 and signed by the presiding juror.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, for reading through the verdict form. Ladies and gentlemen, the court will note that given the complexity of this special verdict form, just I think in fairness to all those in attendance, including in particular victims and the parties, the layman's explanation of this verdict is that the jury has made a finding that it would be appropriate to impose the death penalty as it relates to counts 1 through 6 in the amended indictment. And so pursuant to Idaho Code 192515, the court is directed that the defendant would be sentenced to death on those counts. The court will take up a concluding sentencing proceeding. I also have additional counts of insurance fraud I've discussed with counsel. Moving forward in a consolidated hearing, the court's proposing that we do that this morning, waiving the right to a pre-sentence investigation report under Criminal Rule 32A. Before I get there, just let me ask at this time of the jurors, is this your true and correct verdict that's been rendered in this case? Very well. Does the state wish to have the jury pulled on the special verdict form?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Does the defense wish to have the jury pulled on this special verdict form?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very well. As I mentioned, then that's the result of the verdict form. The court would then proceed with additional sentencing on those 2 counts, as well as the counts 1 through 6 determined now by the jury. Mr. Pryor, is the defense willing to move forward with a consolidated hearing on those counts this morning without a pre-sentence investigation report?
As previously indicated, Judge, yes, we are.
Okay. Is the state going to be ready to proceed with a sentencing on those issues as well?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Counsel, I do want to take a brief recess just to briefly prepare for that, given the verdict, and I will come back on the bench. It really won't take long. I would suggest that a 30-minute recess will come back on the record. The court will conclude with that sentencing hearing. So if everybody could be back here by 10 after, we'll have the jury return one last time to the jury room to wait for that final sentencing hearing. We'll conduct that in the presence of the jurors also, and then I'll have concluding instructions for the jurors. So we will be in recess for 30 minutes. We'll come back for that final stage of the proceeding. Thank you.
All right.
Ooh, good thing I was checking on that.
Yeah, and then he gets to sit on death row for 30 or till he dies. I don't get it.
He's not going to appeal it.
You don't think?
No way.
Look at Scott Peterson.
My page here on TikTok.
I do not. We got a 30-minute recess?
Yes, ma'am.
Scott Peterson's off death row now.
Yep.
So now he says he's going, what, he's got some kind of organization that's going to help him now?
Yeah, good luck with that.
I don't know. I think they ought to just do it and get it over with.
Yeah, me too.
I guess because the appeal process, they can't.
So how long will he be in there before he can file for an appeal right away, right?
The first one was in 30 days.
Yeah, and then he could sit there for 10 years. I don't know. There's a part of me that he needs to sit there for a little while. He needs a little taste of that life.
No, you know what I like about it? Because the heinous crimes that he did. Okay. Because also, okay, fine, to give him life, right? But the death penalty, if you don't get it, whatever, he's got it. You know what I mean? He's not going to be with anybody else. He's going to be in a cell 23 hours a day for the rest of his life until he goes in a box.
Right, but Kit, didn't you do a podcast one time about a guy that got the death row, and they were playing games, basketball, talking about their TV shows they watch and all that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's in another state. I was just focusing on Idaho today and what they do out there.
Okay, so he wouldn't get a TV and all that kind of stuff, and he's on death row.
No, he would. Okay, I have talked to somebody on death row, a few of them, and I will share that at a later time, which is very interesting.
Okay. I just don't think it's fair. It's my opinion, but why should he get a TV or anything after what he's done?
I wonder how his kids feel. People may think I'm rough on the kids. Maybe the younger three, but Garth and Emma, they lied.
They're evil.
Right?
They buy into everything their father lied to them. Everything.
Because he's their father, and you want to believe what your father tells you. And if he's got all these other people brainwashed, do you think it wouldn't be easy to do that to somebody that loves you as a kid?
Well, they definitely are victims of his manipulation.
Right.
He told them not to watch anything about it, the case. They didn't even go to her mom's funeral. Or not. Okay, Tammy Daybell's mom died.
Right.
The kids did not go to the funeral. Come on.
Yeah, their grandmother.
Can you hear me? I got knocked off.
I can hear you now.
Okay. That's so sad for all the kids' sake. But what he did is evil. Just pure evil.
I mean, even after listening, I thought Lori got this started. Okay. No, Chad did. When he met her and Charles and he Googled her name, he got this crazy, hey, Amanda, where have you been? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Excuse me. We're going to listen to, hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's Watch the whole thing. Here we go.
All right, good morning, everyone. We're on the record on case CR 2221-1623, State of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell. This is the special sentencing proceeding that has been conducted last couple of days. The jury's been deliberating. The court is advised that the jury has reached a verdict on the special sentencing proceeding and the special verdict form. I'll note the state's present with the 4 prosecutors who've tried the case, Mr. Pryor and his client, Mr. Daybell, present as well. I'll also note there's a courtroom conduct order in effect. I'd appreciate everyone complying with that, as you all have throughout this trial. I will note on the record before we get to the verdict that we did have a jury question yesterday that the court answered, and I've provided the question and copies of the answer to counsel. In addition, a second question came in today. I did go on the record with that question and answer with counsel and the defendant present, returned that response to the jurors. They've now reached a verdict in the case, so the court is going to have the jurors brought in and have the verdict delivered for reading.
Can you guys hear?
They're bringing the jury in and getting them seated, apparently. But I don't see them standing for the jury, so might still be waiting.
All right, please. Jury's all present. Count for Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court understands you've reached a verdict on the special verdict form. Is that correct? All right, Mr. Bailiff, if you would please return the special verdict form to the court, I'll review that. Ladies and gentlemen, the verdict form is somewhat long and complicated. The court is going to take a moment to review the form. All right, the court's reviewed the special verdict form. I do find it's been properly filled out by the jury foreperson as well as correctly signed and dated. At this time, I am going to request, Madam Clerk, Ms. Holstein, if you would please read the special verdict form. If you'd like to remain seated or standing, it's a long form and will take some time to read, but however is most comfortable for you, Madam Clerk, you may go ahead and read the special verdict form into the record.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho Plaintiff versus Chad Guy Daybell Defendant, case number CR 22211623, Special Verdict. Part 1. We, the jury, render the following verdict on the alleged statutory aggravating circumstances. 1. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tylee Ryan was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration? Yes. 2. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Joshua Jackson, hereinafter J.J. Vallow, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration? Yes. 3. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tamra, hereinafter Tammy Daybell, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration? Yes. 4. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tylee Ryan was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity? Yes. 5. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of J.J. Vallow was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity? Yes. 6. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tammy Daybell was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity? Yes. 7. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? By the murders or circumstances surrounding their commission, the defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life? Yes. 8. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the murders at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit murder which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society? Yes. If you answered no to each of the above questions, you do not need to answer any other questions. Simply have the presiding juror sign this verdict form and notify the bailiff that you are done. If you answered yes to any of the above questions, then please answer the questions in part 2. Part 2. We, the jury, render the following verdict on the weighing of all mitigating circumstances against the statutory aggravating circumstances. You are to only answer the following questions for those statutory aggravating circumstances for which you answered yes in part 1. 1. With respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tylee Ryan was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 2, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Joshua Jackson, hereinafter J.J. Vallow, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 3, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tamara, hereinafter Tammy Daybell, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 4, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tylee Ryan was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 5, with respect to
Did we lose the mic?
It's back. 5, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of J.J. Vallow was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances.
We need a new mic. Okay, we're going to get a separate mic. Thank you.
I'll read 5 over.
Yes, start with 5 again. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
5. Okay. With respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of J.J. Vallow was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 6, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tammy Daybell was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 7, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that by the murders or circumstances surrounding their commission, the defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life. We unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 8, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the murders at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit murder, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. We unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. Once you have completed part 2, please have the presiding juror sign this verdict form and notify the bailiff you are done. Dated this first day of June 2024 and signed by the presiding juror.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, for reading through the verdict form. Ladies and gentlemen, the court will note that given the complexity of this special verdict form, just I think in fairness to all those in attendance, including in particular victims and the parties, the layman's explanation of this verdict is that the jury has made a finding that it would be appropriate to impose the death penalty as it relates to counts 1 through 6 in the amended indictment. And so pursuant to Idaho Code 192515, the court is directed that the defendant would be sentenced to death on those counts. The court will take up a concluding sentencing proceeding. I also have additional counts of insurance fraud I've discussed with counsel. Moving forward in a consolidated hearing, the court's proposing that we do that this morning, waiving the right to a pre-sentence investigation report under Criminal Rule 32A. Before I get there, just let me ask at this time of the jurors, is this your true and correct verdict that's been rendered in this case? Very well. Does the state wish to have the jury pulled on the special verdict form?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Does the defense wish to have the jury pulled on this special verdict form?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very well. As I mentioned, then that's the result of the verdict form. The court would then proceed with additional sentencing on those 2 counts, as well as the counts 1 through 6 determined now by the jury. Mr. Pryor, is the defense willing to move forward with a consolidated hearing on those counts this morning without a pre-sentence investigation report?
As previously indicated, Judge, yes, we are.
Okay. Is the state going to be ready to proceed with a sentencing on those issues as well?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Counsel, I do want to take a brief recess just to briefly prepare for that, given the verdict, and I will come back on the bench. It really won't take long. I would suggest that a 30-minute recess will come back on the record. The court will conclude with that sentencing hearing. So if everybody could be back here by 10 after, we'll have the jury return one last time to the jury room to wait for that final sentencing hearing. We'll conduct that in the presence of the jurors also, and then I'll have concluding instructions for the jurors. So we will be in recess for 30 minutes. We'll come back for that final stage of the proceeding. Thank you.
All right. I've been watching on my phone, just so you know. There you go. There you have it. And I'm glad they're not doing the pre-sentence investigation. And I wonder what Pryor was saying for the appeal. Now, let me tell you something. That man did not make any kind of expression. He has not even talked for 5 years. Okay? Just that stupid look on his face. You see no emotion. None.
Yeah, I think you should put a piece of toast in front of his face or an X spot in the corner.
Oh, a bullseye, maybe?
Yeah. Something.
That was
like
mean.
he's a piece of toast because he's toast.
Toasted.
Toasted.
Rona.
Or you could put flames. He's burnt.
Yes. 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 Like this right here. Thank you for reminding me, because I'm not going to be able to do this no more. Because once the trial's over, the trial's over. Okay? Okay.
Yeah.
They call me a god. 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 Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed.
Yo, yo, yo.
That was awesome.
Right? Perfect song for him.
I'm so sick of people using God.
They call him a frog.
Yeah.
I still got to get a hold of Bryce Savage. Dang it. So, yeah. Does anybody feel bad? What are your opinion about this verdict here?
I think he needs to rot.
Right. In a cell by himself 23 hours a day.
With no
He can
TV.
only get out for an hour.
Throw him a few books.
Yeah, write a book from your cell, and I hope you see every one of their faces. I mean, Joe Ryan, Charles Vallow, JJ Vallow, Tylee Ryan, even Alex and Tammy.
How do all these people get to go to prison, write books, and make money off them?
Well, they got the Son of Sam law, okay? But I don't know what states that pertains to because, Son of Sam, he was making money from prison, but they put a stop to it. So if he does make any kind of money, it goes to all the victims.
Like it should.
Yep. That's why it kind of irks me that Gypsy Rose, here she's been convicted of murder of her mother, and people are...
Yeah,
okay,
I know.
They're putting a message out there. It's okay if you kill somebody, and then you get out and we'll make you famous.
Yeah, and you get all this money in these beautiful homes you can live in.
And, they did her nose job. They fixed her teeth for her. Yeah. What kind of message is that giving to the world? That it's okay? She's a damn mess anyways.
And people in prison get better health care than the people that are in the nursing homes.
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah. It's terrible. They need to put...
Okay. Funny you say that. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm rude like that. Okay. I get that in a sense because let me tell you something. When my ex was in prison, he had more rights than I did with my children. How disgusting is that? If I didn't bring my kids to the prison, this was a day Wednesday in court. If I didn't have my kids at the prison on Saturday, they were going to arrest me for contempt.
Really?
And I told the judge, I said, I want my kids to go through therapy before I bring them into a supermax prison. Well, the judge didn't care what I had to say. I even had an attorney. He didn't. Yeah, but I wasn't going to keep my kids from him, okay? Because you know what? He didn't hurt my kids. Well, I'm not going to get into it. I got to be careful with what I say.
Well, when Timmy's dad
I
was
would not keep my kids away from their dad. Bottom line. I just wanted these babies to have therapy before I brought them in there. Okay. I'm sorry. Carry on.
When I brought Timmy's dad Timmy's dad was in prison, I took the kids every other weekend and I went every weekend when he was in jail. Not that
nobody paid for my gas. I would have to drive there every Wednesday and every weekend. Yep.
They don't do that in Missouri. That's one thing I'll say. I have never heard of them making you bring your kids to the prison. I did it by choice.
Hey, it's bad enough when one of my kids, the one that's having, mental health issues right now, I didn't know that he walked into the apartment when this was happening. So he got to see the fight and all the blood. He remembers that.
I don't think it's healthy to bring kids to prisons either because I don't think it helped my kids at all.
Oh, God, my kids enjoyed it. My kids were goofy.
No, I'm talking about later in life. They get a different impression on.
No, I'm talking about the crime scene. The crime scene. He had my kids out in the car and I didn't know it. I didn't know my kids were outside. I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
Yep. He was watching for me to come home across the street at the gas station with my kids in the car. I didn't know they were until he came sideways in his car after I called 911. Then I seen my baby's eyes. I'm like, oh my God.
And they still made you bring the kids to see him. That's nuts.
Yeah. And he remembers that, they all remember that he got pulled over at gunpoint off the freeway. So that affected them. And then the cops brought the kids back to me, and they parked behind the ambulance. Oh God, what a nightmare.
Is it your oldest one that's having the mental problems?
No, it's my baby boy.
Because
my oldest with a different dad. I had him when I was 16.
Michael saw so much stuff that I think that caused some of his illnesses as far as mental.
Definitely, all that trauma. I hold on to guilt today. I do. Every little thing that happens, I blame me. I'm like, oh my God, this is my fault. This is my fault. I'm like their dad.
I've sat there and cried hours over that. And then I prayed about it, and then I don't know. God told me that you can't live life like that, kid. It'll tear you up.
Yeah, it does.
Because we can't go back to the past, what we should have, could have, would have, you know.
Well, the worst part is the PTSD about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I have it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. See, I can only talk so much about it, and then I shut the hell up. I can't.
Shoot, I can't go to the grocery stores anymore. I don't do too much anymore because it's triggers.
Yeah, I bet that is for you.
I mean, that was me and my kids had a lot of good times at the grocery stores.
Yes.
So my neighbor does all my grocery shopping now.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Where did Misty go? Oh, she is at work.
Yeah, she probably had to jump down for a minute.
She's a nice girl.
Yeah.
And it didn't even bother me that what's his name? Mike Buskings, her granddaughter's grandpa.
Yeah, she knows about that family, I'm assuming.
Yep. She never came here once defending that family, so if she did, I'd be like, okay, let's talk about this now.
I'll be honest, I've
Thank
been
you.
shocked
Please be
all week.
seated.
Oh, here we go.
All right, we're back on the record on CR 22-21-1623, State of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell, concluding the special sentencing hearing that's being conducted where the court intends to sentence the defendant on the counts in the amended indictment, including the insurance fraud counts. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well, Mr. Bailiff, if you'd please have the jurors brought in.
Yes, Your Honor. All right, please. Freeze off, President Counter, for Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, we are back on the record on CR 2221-1623, continuing the special sentencing proceeding. The jury has returned its special verdict. The court would note that pursuant to Idaho Code 18-4004, which is the punishment for murder statute in Idaho, that crime in murder of the first degree can be punished by death. And under Idaho Code 192515 subsection 7A, that states that if the jury finds that a statutory aggravating circumstance exists and no mitigating circumstances exist, which would make the imposition of the death penalty unjust, the defendant will be sentenced to death by the court. The court's reviewed the findings of the jurors in the special verdict form. They've taken their time through these deliberations to return that verdict. And so the court will proceed with sentencing first on counts 1 through 6. And again, this is an unusual hearing because the sentencing hearing's already been taking place. We've heard from the victims through impact statements and arguments from counsel. That's already taken place. In addition, a pre-sentence investigation report is not to be ordered in these hearings, so the court does not reference that. The court then orders as follows, and this will be contained in the court's judgment at the conclusion of the case. As to count 1, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the murder of Tylee Ryan, upon the jury's finding of guilty and return of the special verdict form, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 1, the defendant is sentenced to death. On count 2, the first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 2, sentences the defendant to death. On count 3, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 3, sentences the defendant to death. On count 4, first-degree murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 4, sentences the defendant to death. On count 5, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury having found beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 5, sentences the defendant to death. On count 6, the first-degree murder charge, the murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury having found beyond a reasonable doubt and returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 6, sentences the defendant to death. The court's next going to take up counts 7 and 9 on the insurance fraud counts. Before I do that, from the state, are there any questions regarding the court's judgment as it relates to counts 1 through 6?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, moving on to insurance fraud, then the court will note that I am required to go through a sentencing proceeding on this. These are separate counts that have not been determined in the special verdict form by the jurors. Some brief procedural history. Mr. Daybell was charged by amended indictment with counts 7 and 9 insurance fraud under Idaho Code 41293, which is a felony. Mr. Daybell pled not guilty to those counts on June 9th, 2021. Thereafter, this trial was held, and as part of the findings of the jury in their verdict, they did find the defendant guilty of both of those counts. The court has considered, in lieu of a pre-sentence investigation report, the information that I've heard throughout this trial. I also heard information regarding these charges in the previous trial held last year against co-defendant Lori Vallow. I've also heard information received during the special sentencing proceeding relating to those counts as well, and have considered that information in lieu of a pre-sentence investigation report. And I'll also note the defendant waived the pre-sentence investigation report and is permitted to do that, and the court can allow that under Criminal Rule 32A. At this time then, before I move forward with the sentencing on counts 7 and 9, I will inquire of the state, is the state wishing to make any sentencing recommendation as it relates to count 7 or 9?
And Your Honor, just for clarification, were the insurance frauds count 8 and 9?
As listed in the amended indictment, they are listed as count 7 and count 9.
Okay. Thank you. Co-counsel just clarified for me on that. Your Honor, the state is prepared to make a statement. First, I would indicate for the record that in relation to the sentencing hearing, the sentencing portion handled yesterday, the state did make our best attempts to reach out to all statutory victims to allow them the opportunity to be heard by the court. And those that the court heard from yesterday were the ones that had wished to make impact statements. While not directly related to the insurance fraud, I did just want to make a clear record of that. In relation to the insurance fraud charges, in light of the sentence that has been imposed by this court and by the recommendation of the jury in relation to the other charges, the state would indicate we think that the victim statements covered everything the state could say. While the insurance charges again are attenuated to it, we've lost 3 individuals that the state can do nothing to bring them back. And so the best we can do is move forward in seeking justice on their behalves. In relation to the insurance counts themselves, given the sentences, we would recommend this court impose jail time and have that, or prison time, impose a sentence and run it concurrent with the imposition of the other sentence by this court. I believe they carry up to 15 years in prison. We'd recommend they run concurrent with each other and with the imposition of death in this case. We would also recommend restitution in the amount of $130,000 to LifeMap and $300,000 to Primerica. As part of that, we would also recommend a waiver of any fines or court costs in this matter in order to allow restitution to be paid if any money is available to go towards that.
All right, thank you for the state's sentencing recommendations. Mr. Pryor, does the defense wish to make sentencing recommendations as to, I'll do them collectively, counts 7 and 9, the insurance fraud counts?
No, Judge, there's nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is there any objection to the requested restitution amounts of $130,000 and $300,000?
Judge, we may need to set that out at this point, but I'll let the court know if that changes.
All right, I'll permit 30 days for the scheduling of a contested hearing on restitution. If that becomes an issue, we could conduct that hearing most likely remotely on a Zoom hearing if it becomes an issue. At this time, I will ask, because I need to on these counts, before I impose any sentence, Mr. Daybell, you do have the right of allocution, which permits you to make a statement on your own behalf in any mitigation of these offenses. Is there any statement you would like to make before I proceed with sentencing on those counts?
No.
Very well. The court then, having considered the information previously referenced, finds that pursuant to Idaho Code 41293, which under subsection 4 indicates a penalty of up to 15 years of prison. On each of those two counts, the court is going to impose a prison sentence of 15 years. So a 15-year sentence will be imposed on count 7. The court will take under advisement the issue of restitution requested by the state. The court will not impose any fines. The court also will impose a 15-year prison sentence on count 9. Also pursuant to the same statute, take under advisement the issue of restitution. The court will note in imposing these prison sentences that I have reviewed Idaho Code 192521, which requires me to go through certain criteria about the imposition of a prison sentence versus a possibility of parole or a lesser sentence. And I would note that the rationale for the prison sentences is that these are intertwined with the murder charges for which the death penalty has been imposed on those counts. And when the court looks at the sentencing factors under 1925-21, I would note in mitigation that Mr. Daybell has been incarcerated an extensively long time in local jail and has a previous law-abiding history, and I have considered that. I've also considered that he's always conducted himself respectfully, from what I've heard from all of the jailers that have ever interacted with him over the years that he's been incarcerated for these charges. However, the court finds under Idaho Code 2521 also that any lesser sentence would depreciate the seriousness of these offenses because this life insurance was obtained based on the murders of individuals and procuring life insurance payouts unlawfully. And because of that, it's the most serious offense, that circumstance that could lead to that. In addition, imprisonment will provide an appropriate punishment and deterrent for the defendant and others, and will also be a deterrent for the community as well. So the court having then concluded with the sentencing on that, I will not order any fines because the defendant's previously been deemed indigent and has received the death penalty on these murder counts, and find it would be futile to have an order of fines in the case. So with those remarks, then the court typically would address the defendant further, but in the special sentencing proceeding, the victim impact statements and the evidence has already demonstrated on the record, I think, the seriousness of what's occurred, and I don't find any reason to further delve into the court's rationale other than what was listed in the statute. So unless there's anything further, that will conclude the sentencing, but I will address the post-conviction issues that need to be addressed at this time. Does the state have anything further then on the sentence and count 7 and count 9?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Daybell, in this case, given the sentence that was imposed in counts 1 through 6, there's a special appellate and post-conviction procedure for capital cases, and an automatic stay may be in effect. There's a statute that's Idaho Code 192719 that sets out certain deadlines. I am providing you and counsel with a courtesy copy of that statute, but I will note a few of the deadlines that are listed in there. Under subsection 1, when the punishment of death is imposed, the time for filing an appeal shall begin to run when the death warrant is filed. Number 2, the death warrant shall not be filed until 42 days after the judgment imposing the death sentence has been filed. Number 3, within 42 days of the filing of the judgment imposing the punishment of death, the defendant must file any legal or factual challenges to the sentence of conviction. There's other important and critical deadlines that are contained within that statute, and I am going to provide a copy of that to Mr. Pryor to ensure that the defense is well advised of those post-conviction rights that would apply in this special proceeding. I'll also note that there's an additional rule, Idaho criminal rule. She'll give me a moment. I think it's 40, 44.2. Criminal Rule 44.2, and that's the mandatory appointment of counsel for post-conviction review after imposition of the death penalty. That rule is also applicable in your case, and a copy of the rule itself is going to be provided to you in counsel to ensure that you're well aware of any post-conviction rights you may have. With that, then, the court is going to conclude the special sentencing proceeding. Is there anything further I need to take up from the state?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for your abiding by the court's courtroom conduct order. We'll be in recess.
All right. Thank you all.
They did that on purpose so we couldn't see him get cuffed. And what a piece of shit. No. He had nothing to say. No.
No expressions at all.
Nothing. He could have at least said something to his children, right? And the reason why I'm here is talking about the asset thing or the paying off or whatever, because he owns Chad's house right now.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm stunned on all of it. How long were they in duration or whatever you call that word?
For this?
How long did it take them to find him guilty? I missed that yesterday.
The very next day.
Oh, it was just today?
No. You see, they had court that day, and then it was a later court, so the following day.
Oh, so because normally they'll tell you how many hours. I was just wondering how many hours they were.
Well, I can't remember because our lives were like 8 hours long, so I can't remember everything. I'd have to go through it all.
Oh. Yesterday was a long day, and I tried to listen while I was doing things around here, but I missed it.
That's okay. All right. So this will be it of this live. Justice has served, and I love you all. Thank you for being here. And Miss Barbara, I will contact you because we're going to go live later.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
We need to discuss Bobby Kemp. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
It's a new day, and nothing's really quite going your way. You got bad news that's confusing. You got sad news that you're wounded. And it feels like the worst time. You're worried and scared and not fine. You feel unprepared with no signs. Well, it'll be alright, you just gotta fight. What about things happen to the best of us? It seems like they should be blessed. They just might be angels here as guests, teaching us to be our best. When everything breaks at the seams, and you feel like you're losing belief, but damn it, you just gotta stay strong. When it all falls apart and goes wrong, when you feel let down and so lost, and it feels like you can't hold on, well damn it, you just gotta stay strong. Cause sometimes things go wrong, and one day everything's gone, but you can make it out and move on. So damn it, you just gotta stay strong. You know that it sucks and it hurts. It's like you've been cursed by the world at its worst. I'm sorry, I know you can't see it, but maybe all these things happen to you for a reason.
Spark, your new favorite toy, JJ. What's your new favorite toy? Show Mama and Papa. What's it called? JJ, what's your toy called? Toilet trouble? What a riot.
Telling lies, Papa, come on, da 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 da.
Say welcome to Coastal Crew Change.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over.
You need to go on American Idol.
Johnny as Papa.
But you gotta do the Coastal Crew Change.
It's welcome to Coastal Crew Change. Welcome to the Coastal Crew Change.
Hey, and say, the driver is Papa Larry Woodcock.
The driver is Papa Larry Woodcock.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
And come back.
Come back.
And pay your bill on time.
Yeah. Pay your bill on time.
Your child?
My child.
You thought.
Say hi.
No.
JJ, say hi.
Sit down. Happy family.
Ooh, look at how handsome.
Let Kelsey do it. Let me grab my sunglasses.
A, B, C. Say your ABCs, JJ. Say your ABCs.
ABCs.
A, B, C, D.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, J, K, L, M, N, B. Q, R, S, T, Q, R, S, T, U, V. W, X, Y, and Z. No, I know. I, A, B, C's, Max, I would choose for good way.
Yay! Put it on. Oh, I guess I'm gonna wear another hat.
Love you from my heart.
Thank you.